let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safeway Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
Hello! It's Matt Static, AM Radio.
It's the Cool Bed Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tune in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack a 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin bites.
Good morning to you. Welcome to the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric, but without Dustin Nielson or Lieutenant Eric. It's the return, the takeover, if you will, of the Dave Jameison Show on Edmonton Sports Talk. Matt Iwanyk, Dave Jameison with you here. And YouTube Trev on the other side of the camera here, not on the other side of the glass. We don't have a glass here, so it's on the other side of the camera here with Edmonton Sports Talk. It's been a while since you and I, Dave, have done a show. So I don't know when,
last time I saw you, we were being fired. We were in a boardroom at Bell Media, and you were sobbing. I was laughing because I knew I had a job offer waiting for me. And then the next thing, you and I were walking to the parking lot with banker boxes, right? And all staplers and all the stuff we stole. Yeah,
we were told you could just walk around and leave whenever you want.
Yes, did we ever?
There was one individual who walked around to everyone and said bye.
Yes, I don't know what I'm going to do with that compressor I took from the control room, but I'll find a use for it somewhere. It's good to be back here with you guys.
But because it was you, myself, and Ty that did the show.
Yes.
So there would have been a time when Ty took time off, and it was just you and I.
Correct.
I don't know exactly when that was. When it was the Dave Jameison Show, and you and I did it, it was, you came back after
my illness,
yes. And it was before we transitioned. We had like a week.
That's right.
The end of May or something, where it was just you and I, the Dave Jameison Show. That's over, that would be 2.5 year and a half ago? 2.5 years ago? I don't know.
2.5 years ago.
2022, I guess.
Sure.
So it's been that long.
It has been a while. I would like to say it's good, but I'm not sure it is. Good to be back. Let me figure this out as we go here. I have no idea what the format is. I do know what the Nasty Chat is, and I'm looking to partake in that a little later on.
I'm just looking forward to this because I don't know what to expect out of 3 hours about you and I working together, where you're untethered. You can do...
Yes,
you can do it. Well, who
because
cares?
I was shackled by the corporate overlords before. Now I am completely untethered doing this digital radio thing. Not a podcast, right?
Digital radio.
It's digital radio.
Which, like at the old place, it goes into podcast form. The Dave Jameison Show was on podcast form.
Yes, it was. And
people were able to pick it up. Same with this show, the Nielson Show, which is presented by South Ford Chevrolet. Reserve your 2025 Equinox Trax and Traverse now. A bunch en route. They won't last long. Check out all their details on their website, southfortchev.com. We're coming to you live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio right here on the west end of Edmonton. You can get in touch with us, 780-218-9999. We got Phil from a balcony in Banff. You remember Phil?
I do indeed.
OMG, Iwanyk and DJ together again. How long will it take me to get Dave off the rails and piss off Matthew? Good times. Looking forward to the show. Spruce Grove
Give me
Trad.
a few minutes.
I was just wondering where JMO was. Welcome back. Burglar, are you kidding me? Hi, JMO. Great to hear from you. Can you say my handle one time? He's the burglar. Burglar. Yeah. What a throwback. That would be the 1260 days. And there's a lot of love already in the nasty chat. Also in the nasty chat, just quickly, Chris is in the nasty chat. He says, good morning, nasties. What a trip. Chris won our flyaway to LA trip where I think he's supposed to be coming back today.
To see Kings and Ducks, right? The Oilers down there. Doing football
it was
as well?
Friday night was Intuit Dome, Warriors Clippers.
Oh.
Saturday was SoFi Stadium, Rams Cards. Yesterday was Oilers Ducks.
Oh.
Flew out on Boxing Day. I went on that flight aware to make sure the flight got there. I was like, okay, hopefully our listener gets there. And Chris got there. And then, I believe he's coming back today. So
I'd like a full report from Chris on the Intuit Dome.
He doesn't know it. Inside the rules and regs, I have a full 500-page essay I would like written on this.
Right, what I did on
your
my summer
time there
vacation.
itinerary. That is to be presented. No, I'm very much looking. But that was one of those things. I as much as Intuit Dome, I want Intuit Dome and SoFi Stadium because anyone that goes to SoFi Stadium, I've only heard good things about. I've only heard SoFi Stadium is just the greatest thing ever. So much so that, like, you know me, love Manchester United. They're looking at building a new stadium, and the one thing that they're looking at SoFi and going, we want to replicate that stadium.
Not Commonwealth.
And didn't make the cut.
They looked at it and went, no, I think we're good. I think we can do better.
It was on the short list, and they chose to maybe look at LA. Maybe just missed it. Maybe they'll take a quick walkthrough of Commonwealth again. Maybe they'll change their mind.
And the smell.
Yeah, no, they'd prefer SoFi Stadium. It's good to hear from you. It's good to have you here. We will get into your time because you haven't just been sitting on the sidelines.
Staring out the window. No, I have been doing some things. Yeah, since we last worked together, yes.
You have been on the Hangouts, but then you've been doing some other things where we actually couldn't get you on the Hangout because you were busy with an actual job. Unlike this thing that we do in called radio. So over the course, because you're here this week.
Actual work, let me tell you. Yes, I'm here
except
today,
Wednesday.
Tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah, Wednesday we're off. It's New Year's Day.
We're downing tools on New Year's Day, and then we're coming back with a vengeance. Eric and I, right?
Yes. Eric will return on Thursday.
Okay.
And you and Eric back together. So you and I for 2 days, which is probably all you need of me.
More than enough. More than enough.
And then you and Lieutenant Eric later this week. So there's lots to get. So we'll get into your Elks and stuff to get to. But there's there's this team called the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, yes.
They're still playing hockey. They're still going.
And they're okay. I don't know how you want to get into this conversation, but I know that after what happened in California and losing to the Ducks, a team they should beat 8 days out of 7. Losing to a very good LA Kings team. But the concern, the way I see it and hear it and read it is, are the Oilers heavy enough? Did they get out heavy by the Kings? And did they get outworked 5-on-5 by the Ducks? And it was probably yes to both of those.
They were rolling through December.
Yes, they were.
They were playing great hockey through December.
Good.
You're eventually going to drop hockey games. You're going to have a stumble.
You're not allowed to here.
No, that's the thing. Like, if you zoom out to the last 10 games, they're 7-2-1.
I'm well aware of that.
Like, that's the thing. You can have some stuff. I know that there's concern about this team. I know there's you don't want to see this team lose. But the little bit of the anger that came over the last 2 days to me was just one
well, it's misplaced anger.
Talk to me at the end of the upcoming weekend. Have they continued losing hockey games? Because in some of bad habits are creeping. Are there some things to talk, like Jeff Skinner, his place on this team? That's something that's going to happen.
It would be tenuous at best. And I have to raise my hand and say, when they got Jeff Skinner, I went, that's not a bad pickup, right? Because you look at the numbers he's produced historically. But again, as I read, watch, listen, you wonder if he's one of those guys who's just empty calories. He's an empty calorie hockey player. Yeah, he'll put up number. There's no doubt he can score. But there's not much else there. And if he isn't scoring, what is he bringing?
There's also part, he did get bought out. Now, it was the Buffalo Sabres and they haven't exactly been the best at letting players go.
A rich history of misevaluating.
100%. But
talent.
also, but in the end, he was bought out. And I don't think there is a great track record of buyouts actually working out in their next stop. I don't think if you actually go through the NHL history of who've been bought out and then have gone on to do, that next contract, I don't think it's a big list of players that have had a career, resurgence post buyout. So like that there
you
was
should
that
put
risk.
that. A good host would put that to the nasties and say, somebody tell us who the best example of a buyout redemption story is.
Yeah.
In NHL history.
Well,
I
that's
thought you
why
were
you're a
looking
better
at me
host than
saying,
me.
Would you?
No,
Look
no.
at you, Dave. You have not revived your career after you were bought out, which I thought would be cruel, but that's okay.
No, I was not going there.
Okay.
But thanks for calling me out, because if I was a better host, I would have prepped for that. It's
Yes.
not like I had a week off to find that information. But that is a real concern. We will get to the morning after show momentarily here, where we will talk a little bit more about the Oilers and Ducks. I should tell people what's coming up on the show today. That's what a good host does do. In this hour, we got to get to That's Good for the Italian Center, as well as Good, Bad, and Ugly for Play More Table and Games. Darren Dreger, Pro-Am Sports Insider from TSN. He'll stop by at 7:05. Mike Tenier will talk some football at about 7:40. 7:35, somewhere around there. And Ryan Rishaug, got your back Monday morning mandate right here on the Nielson Show. We will get to him in the third hour. Also in the third hour, we'll have kind of easy trivia for our Mr. Mike's GC, as well as 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. If you have any questions for 3 questions too many, please shoot them in to 780-218-9999. Also, text us to that number, the Paris Jewelers inbox, for a chance to win the text of the day for A&W, which right now has their Mama Burger deal. 2 Mama Burgers for only $9.99.
Do you take calls on this show?
We don't at the moment.
Is that something you aspire to?
Well,
for your
I'll
shows?
throw it your way. Do you think that's something a radio station needs these days? You were a host. You're a better
Yes, I
host than I.
was. No,
because we got away from it. The text line overtook the phone line
and
by
that's
far.
why I ask. Because I recently heard a call-in show after an Oiler game. In fact, I think it was last night or yesterday afternoons, and I thought, God, there's things I don't miss in this medium, and post-game call-in is one of them. Just because of the quality of the calls. I mean, yeah, the Paul Feinbaum show or Jim Rome, your callers are your stars, right? But it's not something that I would say you got to have that or you're incomplete. I did open line radio for a million years.
I would like the ability
Would you?
to occasionally do it. We could call people, but people can't necessarily call us.
Yes.
I guess actually we do have that ability.
Well,
a
I'm
little
not
bit more.
asking you or Tube to try and figure that out now.
I know.
For my
There's
benefit.
different ways, but it's the text line. Because the one thing is with the text is, as hosts, we could pick the good ones, right? Like whether we agreed with them or disagreed
Or in the
with them.
case of some hosts at TSN, make them up.
Make them up, absolutely.
Make up your text.
And you could, the ones that are just utter garbage that don't make any sense.
You put those on air.
Trade McDavid's.
You use those.
You could just skip those entirely. Let's get to Monday morning announcements, which is brought to you. Our morning announcements, 100.3 The Bear. Check out UCAM McCord on the morning show every morning. And in the afternoons, listen to Jess Jackson, our friend.
Oh, very good rock jock.
Awesome. They have those rock slides over there at The Bear.
5 in a row.
I do. There's been so much going on in sports over the last week that we haven't been on the air here. But Millwood's Matt comes in, and I'll have to inform you about this. Hey, Matt, we need an update on the Spite League playoffs. So Dustin Nielsen and I are in a fantasy football league, 16-team playoff, or 16-team league. I was not part of this, but on draft day, he was flying, so he told the commish, hey, I'm flying. I've set my roster for the draft. There was issues. The commission didn't have access to this. So Dusty, like most people would think that you just get best player available, but Dusty just lost his pick. He didn't get the player. They just passed on his pick. Oh my. And it actually, I benefited in the end. I got the player I was going for.
Always, you're known for rigging the system.
So what they did is there was a vote at the draft.
Yes.
And there was 9 people that voted against Dusty. Now, I wasn't at the draft, so I didn't have a vote in this because when Dusty came in and was furious about this, a lot of people were like, where was Iwanyk in this? And it's like, I wasn't there. I didn't vote against Dusty. Yep. And he's like, a legit Matt didn't vote against me. And then he had 5 different people like, I voted for you, Dusty. He's like, that doesn't make sense. Only 2 people voted for me. It was 9-2 or something like that. So Dusty made it a mission this year to destroy everyone in his path. He had names. He wanted to cross them off.
He's drunk with power is what he is.
It was a full spite league for him all year.
Okay.
That's as his word, the spite league.
Okay.
He wanted
Spite.
to beat these people down, which included myself, and get the championship because he got screwed out of a first-round pick this year. Last week in the semifinal, he destroyed the other team. What was the final score in that one? 164, 144. In fantasy football, I know you're not a big fantasy guy. 144 is a great week. He put up 100. He beat the guy by 20.
Okay, well,
So
good on him.
championship week this weekend. Dusty still has a player to play, but he has won. He's up 147 to 100.
So he's the Kansas City Chiefs.
The other team has he actually wins by big margins, not close games.
That's fair.
The
Okay,
other guy
touche.
is done. He has no more points. He has Gibbs left, Dusty, tonight. Gibbs would need 20-some fumbles today for Dusty to lose this. He's projected now to have 167 points in championship weekend. Dusty is your champion of the Rusty Truck Fantasy Football League and better known as the Spite League. And this to me is one of the greatest fantasy football stories ever to be written. A guy that came into the season start saying, I am going to win this in spite and destroy all of you.
He's Jake Paul.
He's Jake Paul.
He's Jake Paul.
And
they called his shot.
I would like to do an EST 30 for 30 short on this. I want a 6-7 minute documentary where we could get whoever we can to do the interviews. And Dusty, though, in that dark room talking about the pain he felt on draft day losing that pick and him talking through the season all the way to the joy of getting the win.
Okay,
this weekend.
You're absolutely correct. I know you have a show to get to. We have a show to get to, but I will just bog things down a little bit more. I am in a fantasy pool. It's just a pick 'em. There's no intelligence
this isn't
required.
the players one.
I will name drop, but I'm in it with Ricky Ray, Jason Moss, people that actually do football or did football, and a bunch of other players. From the Canadian Football League. And I now know why Don Matthews once said to me, you may work in football, but you don't know shit about football. Sorry for swearing at this hour of the day. And he, God may rest in peace, was absolutely correct because I am in last place. Well, second to last. And the only reason I'm not in last is that the guy below me stopped picking weeks ago. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened.
Is it spread or is it just straight up?
Straight up.
Oh,
just
okay,
it's
that's
a pick
tough.
'em. It's just, yay, okay, them, not them, and down you go. You're not, I certainly am not investing any energy in it, but I'm getting.
Well, that might be your issue right there,
getting
Dave.
it handed to me.
Well, but your issue might be just what you said. I'm not putting any energy into this.
Well, and when I say energy, there's sort of some emotion, but not intelligence.
Well, that's the thing. You got to realize. I want you
The
next
absence of
season
intelligence.
to take every Wednesday night 5 hours at night
No.
to look at each game very closely.
What
look
uniform
at the numbers
do I like? What uniform do I like?
and deep dive into it.
Yes.
That's what I want from you next year. I want your redemption tour next year.
Yeah. Well,
You get into that league and you focus and you put
What am I
time and
doing
energy.
with these earbuds? These are a Will Fraser production, right? I think my ears have changed.
Well, you need earbuds to listen to our guests, most notably.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for
that. Will came in one day and we didn't have a lot of earbuds for other people. We have our own earbuds.
Yes.
They're headphones. And then Will just bought some for us.
Okay.
And yours was completely in a package. I think I threw away the packaging. So you got brand new earbuds today.
Well, we thank Will Fraser for that.
That's the
and
gift
for his
that we
talent.
have for you.
Yeah.
Will's great.
He is. Yes. I was a
he's-
big fan then and remain so today.
You don't know what you have until it's gone, you know?
Thank you for that wisdom.
Oh, well, yeah. It's just always interesting when it comes. He forgets his phone, though, a lot.
Okay.
I think it was it the
That does
23rd or was it the
happen.
20th?
Last Monday.
Was it last Monday? Yeah, I just come
Every
in.
show.
I come in after
By the way, those of you who don't know, that voice is YouTube.
That's
Trev, I
YouTube
guess.
Trev.
How's it going,
But
guys?
people know this, right?
They know who YouTube Trev is.
Okay.
He comes on camera too and stuff.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I just go look at that monitor next to you, Dave, and I see a phone. And I look at him, like, who's this? And Trev's like, I think that's Will's. And then I'm like, oh, so I text it. I'm like, is this Will's phone? Just to see if a notification comes up.
Yeah.
It does. He also has my last name spelt wrong. So I text back going, you have my last name spelt wrong, just
I'm
so he knows.
impressed he has your last name or knows it.
So then I'm like, well, I don't know how to get a hold of this guy. Like, he's not on socials.
No.
So there's like no other way to get a hold of this guy. So I'm like, well, I hope. Like, I text the group, like, does anyone have his wife's number? I think eventually Eric might have it. I found that out later. But just later on, Will and his wife walked into the studio and, like, he was looking for his phone. I was like, oh, here's your phone. He's like, I keep forgetting it. I was like, well, maybe you want to keep track of it a little bit better.
I have maximum respect for someone who is completely untethered from social media.
Oh, I can't wait for that day to come for me. I'm actually quite a bit off social
Oh, are you?
largely myself, but I don't use most of the apps. I'm on Twitter, but I don't tweet a lot anymore.
No, I say that with great respect to Will, and I know a few other people who've done the same. They've just cleansed themselves of it, and they all seem quite happy with their decision. You know, I don't need to see pictures of your cat.
When I am done in this industry, Dave, I will be long gone from the socials, and no one will hear from me again.
That's it?
I believe so.
Okay. You just...
No one wants to hear from me anyways.
Well, okay, don't get going on that.
780-218-9999. It is the Paris Jewelers inbox with flexible payment options such as do not pay until 2026 in store. Check them out. A portion of their sales from their holiday collection will be donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Canada. This comes from Rip City Step. Do you think the Oilers could get Shea Weber for Omark and a second?
Oh, no.
Hashtag Jameison trade proposal.
Okay. Do we want to... All right, let's go there. Let's just go. That question is my personal Achilles. And I have, again, wonderful respect that someone would remember that. We got so many Shea Weber texts. I thought, okay, this is it. They know my soft underbelly, and they are rabbit punching me in the kidneys.
And he added the Omark in there.
Hey, Dave, what would it take for the Oilers to get Shea Weber? How many draft picks? And yes, all of it is beautiful.
At the time when Shea was like, this wasn't like him being traded to Montreal when it happened.
He was the preeminent defenseman.
But absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was always the Omark part to that was always the add-in. Like you'd be like, that's not good enough. Why would Nashville do that? Well, what if they took Omark? Well, why would you get rid of Omark then? Because it's not good? Okay, well, why would Nashville want him?
What if we sweeten it with Robert Nielson? Okay, no, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to entice them either. Keep going.
So, yeah, it's well done, Rip City. Well done bringing that one in. We got to get to the morning after show here now. Just a little bit more on the Oilers. I guess Ducks, Kings kind of combined. Can you – actually, I know how to get you annoyed.
Sure.
Afternoon games. Actually, the thing is,
the bane of the Oilers' existence since they came in the NHL. The
Oilers
afternoon game
this season,
yes.
And I don't know if it dates back to last year, have actually been good in afternoon games. But that was the thing that always came up for years with us back at the Dave Jameison show, and you hated that storyline or that narrative. And so I would make sure I always brought it up before going into a weekend. Well, it's a matinee day if this doesn't go well.
Drop at 11 a.m.
And you were
Dave.
ready.
You know what that means?
You were ready to drop them with me.
Yes. Well, and I'm sure there's statistics that support the idea that the Oilers are not exactly, they don't flourish in games that are played at 2 p.m. But to me, it just felt like, and with that, don't forget, for a number of years we were doing the show, the Oilers were not, they were less than.
They weren't this team.
They weren't this team.
No.
Not even close. And so we were it was like swinging at a piñata. Anything, any low-hanging excuse, we would use it to pass off the fact that they weren't a good hockey team.
You can only say they're
anymore.
bad so much.
Right, exactly.
Can you buy the fact that they're coming out of Christmas break and you might just be sluggish? Because, like, it's as Scott McCord on the Bear and then I were talking this morning quickly when I did the hit on that great morning show with Uke and McCord.
Indeed.
Love Scott McCord.
Best rock.
I'd love it. That's one of the best parts about these mornings. I get to talk to Scotty. everyone going back to work is a little sluggish. They're humans. Like naturally, can you not expect that maybe there'd be a little bit of slowness from them too? They didn't play since last Sunday. Or is that just an excuse for this team?
Well, they are, yeah, some of what you're saying I think applies and it's obvious, and because they are humans and we are too, at least partially, not you entirely, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Like we'll say, okay, I understand, you've got lives and wives and kids and all the stuff that happens to a lot of people over the holidays, but they are the world's finest hockey players. I mean, you're at this, you are exceptional, and you can go 0 to 60 pretty quickly. So I'll give them a little bit of grace. I didn't think it was, like against the Ducks, they lost 5-on-5. And that was a Ducks team that is, at the other end of the evolutionary scale in terms of where they're at, but they, I'd like to see them in a couple of years because that might be a very exciting young team to follow. And certainly as their picks start to, get acclimated in the NHL, keep an eye on them. But it was, I didn't look at either game and say the Oilers, it was a dud. I didn't think that they were, they did get outworked 5-on-5 against the Ducks, and against the LA Kings, I think LA just leaned on them. And they miss Evander Kane, a healthy Evander Kane, but that too is obvious.
I saw him at a local restaurant.
Did you really?
Weekend. I did. Okay. YouTube Trev, you and I, we've got the oil stream coming up later today in the noon hour, so we'll get a little bit more of your take on the Oilers weekend, but your just thoughts quickly on the Oilers' losses this past weekend to the Kings and the Ducks.
Yeah, well, first off, how's it going, everybody? Dave, this is awesome. Not gonna lie, this
He's
is pretty
Stuart
cool.
Skinner, isn't he?
Yeah, he gets that a lot.
I do.
Do you really?
Oh yeah.
For that stash.
I got a free beer last year. I told someone. They were like, "Are you Stuart Skinner?" And I was like, "No, but I am Stuart Skinner's brother. I don't even know if he has a brother, but I got a free beer out of it." So that was pretty cool. But so it's glad to be back. I'm happy to be back. This is going to be a fun show. The game against the Kings, I think you guys nailed it on the head. It could have been anyone's game last night. I feel like for the majority of the game, they had so many chances, and I feel like they were maybe trying to be a little too pretty. But again, like they're coming back from the break. I feel like it takes a little bit just to get back and involved and just to where you were. Before the break there, the Oilers were playing some of the best hockey I've seen them play, for sure this year. And even last year, like we talked about it, their win over the Minnesota Wild their win against the New York Rangers, like they were putting some wins together that it was just complete hockey. So I don't think that's gone just because of this 2-game, whatever you want to call it. But it was annoying. They should have had that game for sure. And I just think they were trying to be too pretty for yesterday's. A little bit of just trying to be too pretty and just getting back into the break. It's my thoughts.
One of the things I don't miss about doing day-to-day sports talk is dealing with managing the overreaction, specifically to the Oilers in some cases, but let's confine it to that, where, a 2-game sequence that they've had, sure, they should beat the Anaheim Ducks all of the time.
And the recent history against the Ducks actually has been very good.
Yes, it has been.
They've won like 7 straight or something.
The idea, it's the overreaction that I find difficult to kind of deal with, because this, the good team that you saw over, as Trev said, 10 games, that's still there. This is not a situation critical moment. This isn't a team that's, listing, if you will, and taking on water. No. Just, I think you'll get a better representation of where this team is right now with the effort they offer up against Utah. It's a pretty good hockey team.
If you look specifically in the month of December, and there's one more game to go, I believe the Oilers are 8-3-1 in that stretch.
Yeah,
sample size is the thing for me here. You could actually, if you go 3 games prior to that, they're 11-3-1. Like there's a long stretch
fine.
Where things are good, and you're going to have stumbles, and losing 2 in a row, not crazy. Like they got Utah tomorrow, as you've mentioned. Then they get the Ducks on Friday again. If the Oilers lose to the Ducks again on Friday, okay, I have time to talk about what are the Oilers doing wrong here, like what's going on. That's 3 of 4 losses and 2 to the Anaheim Ducks. I don't expect them to lose to the Anaheim Ducks on Friday.
No, I would suggest not.
So, like, it's when you take that step back and you just zoom out on where the Oilers are at.
But we
over
don't
the stretch,
zoom out
no,
much
we don't.
or enough.
We zoom in.
Yes.
We just keep zoning in more and more and more.
Over-analysis. Yeah, would you like to have seen a couple of things go differently over the weekend? Obviously, you would if you're an Oilers fan. But I would suggest, I'm invoking Low Tide, our dear friend. Keep your powder dry. Keep your powder dry.
Blow it up. Blow it up. We got to get to a Sports Center update with YouTube, Trev. On the other side of that, Dave Jameison, Matthew Iwanyk with you here. We've got to get to That's Good for the Italian Center, as well as the good, bad, and ugly. You're tuned into the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric, without Lieutenant Eric or Dustin Nielson, here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Here's Trev with your update.
Yesterday, Leon Draisaitl scored a pair, but it wasn't enough as the Oilers fall to the Anaheim Ducks by the score of 5-3. The Oilers will continue their road trip tomorrow night for their final game of the year against the Utah Hockey Club. 8 other games around the NHL last night, including the Sabres doubling up on the Blues 4-2. The Red Wings double up on the Capitals 4-2 as well. The Canadiens defeat the Lightning 5-2. The Golden Knights shut out the Flames 3-0. And the Senators edge out the Wild 3-1. Tonight in the NHL, just 3 games dot the schedule as the Rangers head south to take on the Panthers. The Predators visit the Jets, and the Utah Hockey Club visit the Kraken. To the World Juniors we go. Team Canada got back in the win column yesterday, blanking the Germans 3-0. Canada will be back in action on Tuesday when they face the Americans. And 3 other games in the juniors yesterday, which saw Sweden defeating Switzerland 7-5, Finland edging out the US of A 4-3 in overtime, and Czechia doubles up on Slovakia 4-2. In the association yesterday, the Raptors' 9-game losing streak extends to 10 as they lose to the Atlanta Hawks by the score of 136-107. The Raptors will be back in action tomorrow in Boston to take on the Celtics. Tip-off for that one is at 1 o'clock. And to finish things off, 9 games in the NFL last night, but only 1 tonight to cap off Week 17 as the 13-2 Lions take on the 6-9 49ers. Kickoff for this one is at 6:15. The Sports Update is brought to you by Nisku Glass. We want to thank EST and all the listeners and viewers, and what better way to do that than give them a deal? Mention Edmonton Sports Talk or present your Nasty Club membership for 10% discount on windshields, glass, or any of your window and door orders. Call us today to get that ugly broken windshield replaced or to start planning your winter and spring renovation projects now.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.35 Nielson Show, Matthew Iwanyk, Dave Jameison, YouTube Trev with you here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Darren Dreger coming up just after 7 o'clock to talk some more National Hockey League. We also got Mike Tenier and Ryan Rishaug on the show today. The Nielson Show presented by South Fort Chevrolet. And once again, we're live in the Popeyes, Louisiana kitchen studio here on the west end of town, where you can go get your favorite 3-piece signature chicken for just $5. It's saving season. 3
Really?
for $5.
Just
signature
$5?
chicken. $5. That's
Wow.
it. In this
Tremendous
economy,
deal. Oh,
that's unbelievable. Big Uke. J-Mo. Oh, and
Yep.
Maddie. Good to see you on the desk, gents. ... That
That's is smooth.
That's what
That is
always
smooth.
comes in.
Did
Big
you notice after the sports update, Trev turned to me. The tube said, kind of gave it the look like, what do you think of that sports update? To which I said, well done.
Yeah, I wanted to know. That's pretty cool.
wanted an air check.
Was it okay? It was.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Serious?
It had all the nutrients in there, and it was delivered, I think, with a great
It was
degree
okay.
of confidence.
First one back. First one back. It was
See?
not bad. See,
So we got
it's the
rust-
first one back. Got a little rust on
rustiness.
it. It's
We're
not
just like
bad.
Edmonton
It's
Oilers.
okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Bones in the Paris Jewelers inbox. He has it. Hockey's their job, much like EST with Matt and Dave, even though it's not your job. I'm mailing it in today at work. The Oilers just weren't there this weekend. We could all mail it in.
They had the mums on the trip, right? I think
Yeah.
you want to elevate your.
You want to play a little better, but or is that's the trip that you could get away with not playing well because the mom's going to look after you.
built-in excuse.
The mom's going to be like, "Oh, you played well, good job." Like they're gonna tell you good things. They're gonna be like, "You guys, you tried so hard and you worked so hard." Like they're not gonna be like, if it's Dad's trip, Dad's gonna look at those guys and they'll be like, "You guys were trash this weekend.
Have
What are
you
you
met
doing?"
some hockey mums? They're hard driving. They drive to the net. I think those guys may have heard over the years some strong words from a mother along the way.
I'm
not
just gonna
their own,
go with
somebody
it.
else's?
I'm just gonna go with in my mind. I don't want to ruin the mystique.
Okay.
Of good hockey mom.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
I have seen though in my past going to rinks and seeing some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Let's get to that's good for the Italian Center. Hand stretched, house made dough topped with their signature sauce and best ingredients from their deli. All the hard work's done, so you just throw it in the oven. You look like a hero in just 10 minutes. Also, bless you to YouTube Trev for that
Who's
sneeze over
struggling
there.
this morning with sneezes and what do we got going over here?
You know what's funny? Like, I don't know what it is, but I've been sneezing a lot.
Have
Like,
you?
yeah, for
Do you
like
have
maybe.
allergies?
I'm starting to think that I do because my roommates that I had before I moved to my new place now, but they had a dog, and it was kind of like that for my first 2 years. I was sneezing, but this is really bad. And then my the place that I rent out of now, the people that live above me, they have 2 dogs.
Oh.
And so I think that's messing with me. And then when I went back home for Christmas, my brother has 2 cats. And I woke up in the middle of the night coughing and sneezing, and I had to take a Reactin, and it helped. So clearly there
Trev,
might be
I
an
think
allergy.
we're on to something.
Yeah,
I
because
see,
I
I
think-
see a
I think-
connective tissue, which is
Yes.
animals with fur.
2
Yes.
plus 2 is starting to look like 4 a little bit.
sure
I think
is.
so, guys, because I come in and I feel bad. Like, this isn't just like, I don't know. And I'm blown away. No one's really brought this up before.
I have not noticed it.
because
I just
I'll come in and I'll just be sneezing and I'm just like, sorry.
I've been here 39 minutes and I'm calling them out.
Yeah,
Trev,
I think
that's
I have-
why I can't find work.
That was my
is I'm
6th
not
sneeze.
good in the workplace.
Yes. No, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
We need that. That's good.
right.
I like it. But I feel bad. So I'm sorry. I'm not sick or anything. I'm sneezing. I don't know why I'm sneezing.
Well, I think we have an idea of why
Okay,
you're
well, you know what?
sneezing.
I think we know why I'm sneezing
Consider
now.
a reptile.
Yeah.
Huh? Maybe a reptile?
Okay. I had
go-
a chameleon once.
go get some Reactin.
No way.
Yeah. His name was Trico. Yeah, he was a good.
Go get a Reactin. Try it for like a week and see how if the sneezing goes away.
Yeah, I'm going to get on that because this is just terrible. I don't know if you guys can hear me sneeze on if it's coming
Oh,
through
they
or not.
can. Trust me.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm getting messages.
Okay. I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet.
That's good. I want to look back. We haven't talked about it all yet. Christmas break for Trev and I here, Dave, Christmas and all of that. I had a good time. I had wonderful time with family. Nieces gave me a couple of gifts.
Oh, what sort of
they
things?
made some ornaments for me. Some lovely ornaments. They also bought me a bag of chips, which they were very excited about. And some
Hold on a
licorice.
minute.
And licorice.
Which you like.
Love licorice.
You love
chips
licorice.
too.
That I know. What
No.
kind of chips?
Lay's is sweet chili. I can't remember what it's not sweet. I don't think theirs is called sweet chili heat. Never had them before. They're delicious. My nieces, they went with my parents to go buy some gifts for my brother, sister-in-law, and myself. And my parents were trying to take them to like a Marshall's or Home Sense to maybe look at things.
Of course.
But they were at Walmart first and they saw some like groceries and like, let's get these. And my parents like tried convincing them to go get other things throughout the mall, but they just kept going back to like my sister-in-law got Cheerios.
For Christmas.
And they were very excited about getting the Cheerios because apparently she ran out. So my nieces were like, we got to get her Cheerios. So they're very excited about those things. My brother got licorice too. And he got a bag of chips as well.
Problem
And
with that.
There's some of the best
proud
gifts
those
I have.
kids.
I couldn't be happier.
I believe a practical Christmas to be the best Christmas.
We used to get my grandfather raisin bread. He loved it. Every occasion. Every
Did
occasion.
you wrap it?
It was in a bag. He would take out the tissue paper and there'd be raisin bread. And he was the happiest guy. every Christmas and birthday, we get him raisin bread, and he was happy. And I'm like, that's me. That's going to be me as a well. Just get me food. Get me chips. I will be happy. Or licorice, apparently.
I like the practicality. I'm just not sure. Do I want to under the tree? Oh, look, it's a bag for you, and I open it, and it's a rutabaga. Like I don't know how I would feel about that, but I applaud that they are getting you something that you can use, genuinely use in your life.
My grandfather loved it, and I think I'm going to love it. How was your Christmas?
It was excellent. It was very good. Christmas is, the Christmas part is, all of that is, the sights, the sounds, and the pageantry is fine. I really like coming out of Christmas, and because it's busy, it's, rushing hither and yon to get things and cook meals and all the kind of stuff you do. I like that feeling coming out of it like, oh, God, we got through another one. And there is that few days after Christmas, be it Boxing Day or even beyond, and you can feel it. I can just feel the internal furnace being turned down a bit.
It's always like Jan 6 for me this year because it's the business New Year almost. Dusty's back.
Right.
We're fully staffed. And there's always that one Monday that comes after the New Year's. That's when it feels like to me, now we're out of it. We got through it. We're through another one. To me, I still feel like it is the Christmas season, largely.
See, I not to make this about me, but why wouldn't I? This is my second to last day on my contract with the Edmonton Elks. So I feel like I'm riding high, but also come Monday, I know I got to find another job. So that, holds some, I'm a little trepidation there, but we'll figure it out.
Second to last day, and you're working at a different company right now.
Yes.
Trev, how was your Christmas? How was your time back home?
It was lovely. I loved every second of it. I got to see some family. Wasn't able to go home last year for Christmas, so this one was extra special. Got to see, the whole clan. Pretty well. I wasn't able to see my dad, and I know he's watching right now. So shout out, Dad. But I got lots of cool things. I got an air fryer. I got a new place, and that is a game changer.
You're an air fryer guy?
Hernan said in my post.
Yes.
Yeah, I made some, so what do you call them? The mozzarella sticks, like the bread sticks, and it was good. I actually it was so good. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. I made a few things. I'm going to have chicken wings later tonight. It's going to be great. I got a lighter for my candle, but it's not like any traditional. Wait. I'll show you this bad boy, and it's actually pretty intense. It's like a taser.
Oh, it's one of those USB ones?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if it's a USB one, but
well, there's something like they're the chargeable ones.
It might be chargeable.
or something.
Might be chargeable.
So that's where it's the USB.
Okay, but it is just.
And this is to light your candle?
Yes. Yes. But
okay, Trev.
Obviously, we were getting, we were having fun. We were getting into it, me and my brother and I.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, bro, you got to shock me with this. And he absolutely did. And it woke me up. And we were just having a really fun time. And so got that, and if you want to see it, I'll maybe
I'll
bring it in.
Something with a lighter and you're having a fun time? Like, don't you just use a lighter and light whatever it is, your candle?
Yeah,
Apparently, light yourself.
But no, this is
you don't want to go Jason Pierre-Paul on this thing. Like, be careful, man.
Okay, confessions here. I feel like I don't know what it is, but for a lot of people in the world, they have that weird thing, and for my weird thing, it's I can handle electricity very well. Like, very well. I've always wanted to be tased because I don't think I'd fall down. I'm not even joking.
Hold on a minute.
And so I put a shock collar or a dog collar on my neck once.
Trev, let's just slow for a second. I want to come back. I do have some follow-up questions
he's here today.
Wait a minute. You said you have apparently a high threshold to things.
I'm
that
serious.
Shock and
Yes,
all of
I
that.
don't feel it. Like, not nearly as much as anyone else. They'll all react, and then it'll be my turn, and they'll be like, why aren't you reacting? I'm like, I am. Like, what am I feeling right now?
This is highly irresponsible of me, but if there are
have a
people
taser?
watching who have access to a taser, could you come down here to the studio? Because I'd like to see you get blasted.
Yeah, like I've always wanted that. Like, I'm not even joking. I've been shocked before by a dog collar, and I was like, ooh, okay, that one I feel a little bit, but I was able to handle it.
You put on a dog collar, and I don't know
barked.
enough about this, and then you barked.
Yes, and I handled it very well.
Were you in a costume when all of this was
No,
happening and on your
no.
knees
No,
being
no,
led
no.
around? Okay, no.
No, that didn't happen. It was just, you get together with the boys, and that's all it was. We were having a few wobblies.
Who doesn't get together with the boys and put on those dog collars?
Yeah, what are you guys up to tonight? I'm going to watch the game, and then I think Trev's going to get tased a little later. Any reason? Is he running from the law? No. We're just going to tase him.
Yeah.
Says he likes it. Okay.
Yeah, like, I don't know if I like it, but I like that
The
I
sensation
don't feel
of-
it, really.
Yeah.
And, like, people, but this one, I'm not going to lie, it lights my candles. It got me pretty good. I was like, oh, yeah, I felt that one for sure. But so aside from that, I had stuffing for Thanksgiving this year. I made stuffing, and it wasn't good. It was dry. It was terrible. The whole turkey sucked. So I had like a nice meal. I had stuffing for the first time in 2 years.
I'm laughing just because
I
like you
had a
set it
plate.
up like, oh, I had stuffing. I was expecting it was really good, but no, it was bad. It was awful.
Yeah, I was thinking the same
Like,
thing. He was going to sort of wax
just
poetic.
this huge letdown of this stuffing.
No. It was really good. Like, I had a whole plate full of just stuffing. And I had
And
a
then
little
you got
bit,
tased.
Yeah, and then I got tased later. And a little
Yeah.
bit of turkey, but a lot of stuffing.
What is it? Is it tryptophan? Tryptophan is the thing in turkey.
Tryptophan.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's the
Which makes you sleepy.
Yes, that's right.
That's in turkey, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Why is it unique to turkey? Is it just?
Good question.
All right, we'll throw that out to the nasties.
Nasties.
Let us know.
Do your thing.
You let us know. That's good,
a good
for Italian
question.
Center.
Yes, that
Great
that
Christmas
was
break
good.
for all of us.
It was awesome.
It was great. It was good for Trev to get shocked by a lighter.
Yes. It was good
That's-
to be back, and I had so much fun, and it was nice seeing all my family.
It's a nice dismount there.
Are this falling out of your ears?
Yeah, I
Is that
don't know
what the
what's
issue
happening
is
with these things.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going to come in tomorrow with like those huge cans.
I
so
don't
look
allow
like
people
I'm-
those wear those.
Oh no, why
generally.
is that? Aesthetically, they're not
Yes,
pleasing.
100%.
Well, fair enough.
That's see. At least you say fair enough. Other people like Reed wants headphones. I'm like, no one does that on like this is like got the video.
I'm going to give you a little tip in working with talent. As a former program director of 630 CHED, as Ron Collister used to pronounce it, give the talent what they want.
I know.
If Reed wants
Already said no.
headphones, get Reed headphones.
I've told him no. And I told him I'm not changing on that one.
That's what you got dug in?
I'm sticking with that. We're the big headphone. Like
With top-tier
Trev has
talent?
them, but that's because he's on
'Cause
the
he's
other
off
side of
camera.
glass, and he's
Okay.
got to listen to the quality of this. We don't have to listen to the quality of it,
Okay.
because generally it's going to be trash, anyways. It's you're listening to just make sure you can hear the guests and stuff like
Of
that. Like
course.
I will come in doing two guys and a goalie or something when it's like just Gager and I or something. Or like today when it's Trev and I doing all stream, I won't wear headphones because I don't need headphones at that point because we're just talking in the same room.
But
And proper
I'm on
mic
Team
technique.
Reed.
So
Get him what he wants.
I got to get to good, bad, and the ugly. Brought to you by Play More Tables and Games, from ping pong, pool tables, darts, dome hockey, plus all the classic arcade action you could ask for. Visit Canada's Game Room Expert, locations Edmonton, Calgary, online, playmoregames.ca. Dave, you've seen our Tecmo Bowl coming back. You can attest to how much we cared about Tecmo at the old place. We've told people just how much like we were into it, and I don't know if people fully understand how deep it went.
Oh, and I was a bystander. I
Yes.
mean, I was watching you guys every day. And the childlike joy that you guys got from playing that game in what was the name of that room? The talent tank?
It was the talent tank because it was dressed like a tank, or like the
Right.
It wasn't wrapped like William Huff.
No.
We
Yes,
didn't
these are
get
pros.
proper wrapping.
Bell took
Actually, that would have been
one
a
of
good
its
idea over
corporate
there.
colors and just lathered the entire room.
It wasn't even corporate colors. Heather
No?
just liked the look of the color.
Okay. Yes, but
Looked like the San Jose Sharks of old.
the Tecmo
The Tecmo machine.
Tecmo machine console or whatever we're calling it was your happy place,
Very much so.
because God knows not much of the rest of our daily lives were happy near the end.
My good.
Yeah.
It was the Pop-Tarts Bowl from Saturday. I disappointed in the results. I am a Miami Hurricanes fan, and we lost. And I use we there. Tough game. The defense was optional in that football game. I was very frustrated, very disappointing, very devastating loss. But the actual game itself lived up to the hype. I talked about they had the three mascots this year.
Yep.
They came out in wrapping, and they ripped the wrapping off as if you're opening up a Pop-Tart. They
And they
resurrected.
did kind of a Magic Mike thing with
Yes.
it when they ripped it. Yeah, it was great.
They resurrected the one that was eaten last year. They had a big like in memoriam, and then it was resurrected. They were all over the field. The Miami Hurricanes Pelican mascot, Sebastian, I believe it is, came and ate one of the Pop-Tarts during the game. They were having fun all over the place. In the end, I think they picked the cinnamon one, the MVP of Iowa State, and it got toasted in front of our eyes and eaten in front of our eyes. And the other two mascots watched and like saluted it. And the sign last year was "Dreams do come true." This year, the sign was "Follow your dreams." And high above in the stands at the very top was the resurrected one from last year, just watching on. It lived up to a type completely. It was wonderful. The Pop-Tart Bowl was amazing. And credit to Pop-Tarts and their marketing team, because they have absolutely crushed this, where it is one of the top now bowls to go watch.
And
my good from the weekend.
And I will concur. I know I should have a different good, because that was football takes itself very seriously. Too seriously in many cases. But it's the very rare occasion when the sport gets to let its hair down on an important platform and an important stage for the game, and absolutely take the piss out of itself. And do it in a way that's fun, appealing, I think, to, I mean, maybe football purists don't like all that stuff around the game, but yes, to the people, whoever they were, sitting in a boardroom saying, you know what, I got an idea. And nobody went, no, you can't do that. It's football. It's God's sport.
It's one of the few times where like companies jumped on as the sponsor of a bowl game and have tried to do something with it where everyone's involved. I was watching the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. No one cares.
No, because it's a logo slapped on a marquee.
100%.
That's all it is.
Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripes Bowl at Yankee Stadium. Cool. This one, Pop-Tart Bowl took over. It could have just been the Pop-Tart Bowl. But Pop-Tarts came in and were like, we're going to do some stuff with this. I favorited and bookmarked so many Pop-Tart Bowl tweets from the weekend. A few more things. They had the goalpost wrapped in foil used on Pop-Tarts.
Can I just read something here from the nasty
They
chat?
had sprinkles on the sidelines. They added sprinkles to the white sidelines. You could read from the nasty chat.
Yes. Maddie is a hard ass. The Bob Layton of EST. Ukrainian, not Mormon. That's great.
That's high compliment. I just now need to get to my...
You need a daily editorial.
Yeah, was it the daily editorial? Is that what it was called? There was a name, wasn't there?
I should know this. I worked with Bob.
I forgot.
God,
I thought there was something.
He could write and
those
deliver.
editorials were awesome.
Yes.
Also, the Pop-Tarts visited a hospital with newborns. They met newborns at an Orlando hospital ahead of the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and the mascot comes into the room with a mom who has a newborn, so this newborn's never going to know what happened. And they give a box of Pop-Tarts.
You get the baby started right.
With
the best nutrition.
There's a video of the game ending, and immediately, like as Iowa State are all celebrating, you see one of the Pop-Tarts in there with them. It just was absolutely amazing. It was absolutely incredible. That is my good from this weekend. Did you have a different good? Or are you gonna...
No. Why would I? What would eclipse that?
There's
the
nothing.
Commanders win over Atlanta? No, that's fine.
Atlanta's timeout management. It's awful.
Well,
YouTube Trev, do you have a good at all? You being tased by your own lighter.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I probably would just say, you know what was good? The travel, the roads. I'll say that. The roads were good, just dry. And I was kind of worried. I'm not going to lie. It's a 6-hour drive, so I was worried. But I tell you what, it was like 6 degrees in Lethbridge. No snow at all. Like I couldn't get over it.
Chinooks.
Yeah.
they say they got a lot of those down south.
Yeah. Do you guys hear about those out here?
Yes.
Yeah. We got a lot of Chinooks back home. So
we're working with Justin Dervin here. He goes the roads. Okay.
Yeah, the roads, but the roads were good. The traffic was good, and I was worried about that. But the roads were good. And it's winter driving sometimes, but
you never know.
Yeah, you never know. So I'd say the roads were very good.
My bad from the weekend. I will go to just the over-the-top criticism of our World Junior team, especially after the shootout loss to Latvia. Yes, we shouldn't lose to Latvia. Yes, it would be nice to see a goal scored in 8 attempts or whatever in a shootout. But the over-the-top reaction that we get anytime our World Juniors team not just rolling every single team, it's incredible to me that like people can't have go in perspective like, oh, these are kids. There's 17-year-olds and stuff like that.
We don't have perspective when it comes to international hockey. God, I mean, we barely have it on local hockey, but it's the one that World Juniors, Matty, in the absence of the Olympics and the NHL being, NHL players participating in the Olympics. The World Juniors is the one time where we come together under the big tent, and we just apparently the hopes and dreams of an entire nation reside on the shoulders of a 17-year-old. That's a little unhealthy, but it's what we do. I don't agree with it, but it's what we do.
Yeah. That's where, it's the over the top. I understand, we could sit there and it's sports. In the end, we could talk about, be a little critical of why did Canada lose. We can get into that. But the over the top where people are just angry and pissed off and calling out these kids, I never liked that at the World Junior because they are just kids representing our country, too.
But because, in Hockey Canada's had a few things to deal with of late.
Yes.
But the idea, and this happened a number of years ago, so I am dating myself, which I often do, which is Canada loses at an international event of some description in hockey, and some well-meaning elected official says we need a commission to investigate why this, why we are not the undisputed champions of hockey. Why don't we for a moment, I know this is impossible for some, to acknowledge that other countries are also really good at playing hockey.
We're getting better.
And getting better.
Like
and in many cases, they're getting better because of Canadians who are either over there coaching, in some cases, playing. It's no longer our little game, and we got it all to ourselves.
You have a bad?
I'm going with Aaron Rodgers, although he could be my ugly as well. Can you win two categories?
Yeah. Sure. Awful throw yesterday. I saw there was one play where he ran to the side, couldn't run, decided to throw it, put it in his receiver's feet,
yes, and
then yelled at his receiver for not catching the football.
That encapsulated where he's at in his career. And I watched Enigma, so I went into that game with, coming off a 3-part doc on him, and I looked at him and I go, yeah, he's cooked. He's cooked.
But you want to spend time with him?
Oh, I want to go on a retreat, and like a real deep woods retreat. Absolutely. I don't want him running my offense.
Trev, you got a bad by any chance?
Bad? No, I was trying to think of a bad. I do not have a bad, but I know you do, and we're set up to watch this bad boy if you're
well, what's
ready.
this for?
You're good and you're bad and you're ugly?
No, I sent a different video.
This is what I went to.
Okay.
Then I sent you the wrong video.
I'm immediately taken
that.
by
Okay.
the preparation we put into this show.
No,
That's my bad.
No, that one is mine. It was mine was with the Pop-Tart bowl.
No.
Yeah, no, I
was wondering why this was what. I was like,
No,
what did...
Yeah, you could delete that then.
Oh.
You could delete that
Okay,
then.
well then
no, I
that's-
was just gonna have clips of the Pop-Tart being toasted in front of our eyes. It was wonderful.
Okay, well, that's my bad.
No, that's on me.
See what I did there?
Oh, I get it.
This
It's
is
bad.
like being back at TSN 1260, calling for a clip and everyone going,
Where is this?
I don't know. It's
I
somewhere
don't know
in the
why he would have
system.
sent you that
Yes.
one. Well, that's my bad there too. Yeah. My ugly from this weekend. I'm going to the National Football League as well for this one. It's the New York Giants at the Indianapolis Colts game. I'm going to the ugly because of both teams. The Colts fighting for their playoff lives. They need this win to keep their hopes of possible playoffs alive. And they lose to the New York Giants, who have 2 wins on the season, who have Drew Lock as their quarterback, who are just an awful football team. The New York Giants trying to just clinch that number 1 overall pick, lock it as theirs, get closer to that.
Guys, get out there and be incompetent. All we're asking is you to suck.
And they find a way to win a football game. Now there's a 4-way tie with 3 teams at 3 losses. I think the Giants still have the lead for the number 1 overall pick. But watch, they'll go win this upcoming week and lose the number 1 overall pick. That is my ugly from this weekend. Just the good football games were scheduled earlier. We had the late games with the Vikings and the Packers. We had Bears Commanders and Falcons.
Yes.
Those were great football games. There's a lot of bad throughout that. But the Colts Giants, just awful. Colts blow it because they knock themselves out of the playoffs. Giants win for absolutely no reason. An ugly football game for me.
I think there's a bunch of stuff in the NFL. I know at its best, there is nothing better or very few things better in sports than the best of the National Football League. But I made a critical error, as I often do in my viewing choice. And I stumbled across the Carolina Panthers. And I'm sitting there staring blankly at the screen, and I thought to myself, I really don't care. I don't care about this team. I haven't cared about them probably since, I know Chuba, right?
That's it.
That's the only reason I can think that would compel me to spend, in this case, 7 minutes watching them.
Yeah, they're not worth it.
I haven't cared. It was Jake Delhomme, right? that
Jake
took
Delhomme
them?
took him to the Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots.
That's right. That Patriots team, by the way, don't jump past them in terms of awful teams.
Oh, they have 3 wins too. They're right there.
They're dreadful.
Yeah. 100% they are.
In there is a lesson on how franchises can get very bad very quickly.
It's incredible what a quarterback could do for you.
Just a bit.
And when you don't have one, how bad, deeply bad you can be. There's good, bad, and ugly for Playmore Table and Games. This text burglar, how about the Thursday nighter, 6-3? I didn't even watch that game. I forgot that it was even on. I
did.
I was watching college football. You watched that?
Yeah, yes, I did. But I don't sit in front of the flat screen for very long. I move around and consume my sports. Obviously, you're down to a critical moment. I plant myself there. But I was moving around a lot. It wasn't vacuuming, but it was stuff that pulled me away from the screen because it was god-awful football.
6-3 football game.
Yeah.
Prime time. National Football League. Yeah. Nothing better. Nothing better.
Defense wins championship.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by Southport Chevrolet. Matt Iwanyk, Dave Jameison, in for Dusty and Eric today alongside YouTube Trev. We have a Sports Center update. After that, should have from a TSN, Darren Dreger, Pro-Am Sports Hockey Insider, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. Here's YouTube Trev.
Yesterday, Leon Draisaitl scored a pair, but it wasn't enough as the Oilers fall to the Anaheim Ducks by the score of 5-3. The Oilers will continue their road trip tomorrow night for their final game of the year against the Utah Hockey Club. 8 games around the NHL last night, including the Sabres doubling up on the Blues 4-2. The Red Wings double up on the Capitals 4-2 as well. The Canadiens defeat the Lightning 5-2. The Golden Knights shut out the Flames 3-0. And the Senators edge out the Wild 3-1. Tonight in the NHL, just 3 games dot the schedule as the Rangers head south to take on the Panthers. The Predators visit the Jets, and the Utah Hockey Club visit the Kraken. To the World Juniors we go. Team Canada got back in the win column yesterday, blanking the Germans 3-0. Canada will be back in action on Tuesday when they face the Americans. And 3 other games in the juniors yesterday, which saw Sweden defeating Switzerland 7-5, Finland edging out the US of A 4-3 in overtime, and Czechia doubles up on Slovakia 4-2. In the association yesterday, the Raptors' 9-game losing streak extends to 10 as they lose to the Atlanta Hawks by the score of 136-107. The Raptors will be back in action tomorrow in Boston to take on the Celtics. Tip-off for that one at 1 o'clock. And to finish things off, 9 games in the NFL last night, but only 1 tonight to cap off Week 17 as the 13-2 Lions take on the 6-9 49ers. Kickoff for this one at 6:15. This sports update brought to you by GreenPlan, providing you with award-winning environmental and consulting services. Whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential, plan it right with GreenPlan. Visit greenplan.com or give them a call at 780-455-4292.
The Nielsen Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
This is the Nielsen Show. Lieutenant Eric, Matt Iwanyk, Dave Jameison in with you on this Monday morning, 7:05. We're minutes or seconds away from Darren Dreger, Pro-Am Sports Hockey Insider from TSN. Rip City Step in the Nasty Chat. I won my fantasy league because my opponent picked up the Indy D and got -2 points from them. Why would you pick up the Indy D? I guess you're going up against the Giants. That's what you're hoping for there. I just wouldn't be trusting Indies D in such an important moment for that. But congratulations to Rip City, the Nielson Show presented by Southport Chevrolet.
When you have a minute, pull up Pat McAfee. There's a transcript. I don't think he tweeted this in its entirety. I think it's a transcript of what he said about the Colts organization. It is a scathing.
I was going to say probably all good things.
Yeah,
I could only think that there would be good things. We're live in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. We're right now. You can go get, I don't know if they're open right now, but sometime today you can go get, I just don't know if they'd have the chicken ready to go. 3 for $5 deal, 3-piece signature chicken for just $5.
Yeah, I don't like your chances going right now, but I would imagine the staff is there preparing to open.
Yeah, I actually don't know what time they would open. 10:30, 10 o'clock
Okay.
across the city. So and later today, go get your $5 3 signature pieces of chicken. We have Mike Tenier coming up a little bit later from 2 Deep Zone Substack. But right now, it is from TSN, Darren Dreger, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialist. Gear up for game day. Oilers jerseys, headwear, hoodies, and hats from Fanatics. New Era 47, Mitchell and Ness. In stock now, located in Edmonton at the corner of St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave. Online, ProAmSports.ca. Darren Dreger with us here. Darren, how was your little bit of a Christmas break? Get anything good?
Pretty uneventful. No, it was uneventful. It wasn't a whole lot going on. And, I've come to appreciate how great it is to not have to focus entirely on hockey over the Christmas season. That's my time at TSN dating back to 2006. I cut my teeth, in this business covering junior hockey back in the day with the Brandon Wheat Kings, obviously, right? So I felt like at some point I would morph over onto the world junior scene. And then I had young kids. I'm like, this Christmas off thing is fine. Bobby Mack can fill his boots. I hope he and James are having a good time on that World Junior panel. And then my kids grew up. Now they're adults. And I still enjoy not having to work. It's one of the few times where over the course of a year, I legitimately, like last night, can sit there and I'm not face painting and waving the Canadian flag, but I can sit in my easy chair, watch that hockey game, and when Canada scores, be happy that Canada scored. So in essence, I guess that makes me a fan this time of year.
Darren, a win over Germany, okay, that has calmed the criticism as you would expect it would. But let's go back to that Latvia game. And I saw criticism, and as I'm sure you did as well, that Canada left good players off this roster. Were they more concerned with building a team in the full sense of that rather than just loading up stars?
Well, and look, it's a fair question, and it's a question that educated hockey fans, passionate World Junior fans are going to continue to ask until we get to the medal round. And then let's find out where Canada fares at that point. I mean, as Duthie in the panel pointed out, going into that game against Germany last night, there have been other early World Junior setbacks with Team Canada where they found a way to rally, they bounce back, and ultimately they win gold. And, when you're a hockey power like Canada is, that's the true measurement. It's not winning silver. It's not getting the bronze medal game. It's gold or bust. So it's too soon to say. I will tell you what my personal view is. And this dates all the way back to 2010. And I don't know that Hockey Canada has aligned. So they picked the World Junior team the same way they picked the Four Nations face-off team or Olympic teams on the men's side. But I know when Canada won gold in Vancouver in 2010, of course it was celebrated. The golden goal of Sidney Crosby, all of that. But the takeaway from management of that group was, we got a bit lucky here. We went full in on skill. Yeah, of course we had, we're littered with centers, but centers can play the wing and, positionally, we just took the best players. Well, it worked. But then the follow-up was, let's start designing the model of a roster. And so they looked at it differently. And then they started to slot certain players. And management of the Four Nations face-off, with a great influence, I would say, from head coach John Cooper, was very similar to, the makeup of the teams after 2010. Let's make sure we're covered. Anthony Cirelli, a hell of a hockey player, no doubt about it. If I'm management Anthony Cirelli does not make that team ahead of Zach Hyman, as an example. But, so good, skilled players, multi-dimensional players left off Four Nations. And I wonder, in a long-winded way, if some of that philosophy didn't transfer over to how the World Junior team, Canada's World Junior team, was constructed. What we learned, though, is you have to have skill, and this is a 19-year-old tournament. Normally, the teams that have great success, they've got a bit of experience at this level. But when I look at the top draft picks who aren't on this roster, that's going to be a huge story if Canada doesn't do what everyone is hoping Canada does, and that's win gold.
We're at Darren Dreger from TSN, shifting to the National Hockey League and the Edmonton Oilers. They go to LA to take on the Kings and the Ducks. They only pick up 1 of 4 points. You could imagine that in the city of Edmonton, there's a lot of anger and frustration. But when you zoom out, they're what do I have? 8-2-1 in the month of December now. Are still, overall looking at this, the record, playing really good hockey. But we are getting closer to the midway point. The Oilers have played 36 games, and it doesn't seem like anyone has really stepped up on the team to grab one of those 5th, 6th spots of the top 6 forwards. None of the additions this past offseason have really claimed that as one of their spots. How big of a concern would that be for Oilers?
Well, it's a concern. I don't know that it's a huge concern because, we know the Oilers are a top-heavy group, offensively, certainly. And even when this team struggled early on in the regular season, the message from management was, I know you guys want to talk about what we don't have on our blue line and the changes there, but it's our top players that aren't delivering and aren't playing as well as they have. Well, now you're at or close to the midpoint of the regular season. Your top players are more than shouldering their share of the load. Yesterday was a little bit different. I mean, collectively, that group looked to lack energy and commitment against the Ducks. I think we could all agree on that. Leon Draisaitl with a big day. But defensively, as a group, not just the blue line, you can't continue to blow 2-goal leads against any team in the National Hockey League. So there's a pretty wide margin between the Anaheim Ducks and the Edmonton Oilers, but that margin gets pretty thin when you're not playing as hard as you have to play to win. And that would be the reminder, I think, from Knobloch and the coaching staff. And then look, we all want to talk about trade scenarios, the speculation that runs rampant around the National Hockey League. And Stan Bowman, I know, continues to push and look for upgrades, basically in all positions, certainly up front and on defense. I thought Arvidsson was going to be, I thought that was a sneaky good ad. I did going into the year. I had less enthusiasm and was more critical of the Skinner ad up front. I just didn't see enough in Jeff Skinner's time in Buffalo to believe that he was going to fit into their top 6. So whether that's an area that they address, we'll find out. It's going to come down to dollar in, dollar out. That's always the case with the cap teams. And right now, if you're trying to buy, you're buying high. And that does not fit the agenda or the model of what Stan Bowman has to get done there.
Darren, I just want to come back to Jeff Skinner. Have you seen enough of him as an Oiler to render some kind of a judgment on where his game is at and whether he still has the necessary amount of game to be a meaningful impact player?
Well, I think he does have enough runway left. I do. I guess what I would wonder, though, is how can you be confident that he's going to use that runway given what we've seen from Jeff Skinner historically? I mean, look, when he's on his game, he's a productive player. He can give you that secondary offense even at this stage of his career. The problem is, can he be trusted? And the answer to that defensively is no, he can't be. And it's pretty evident that Knobloch and coaching staff, the Edmonton Oilers, see it the same way. And not just because of the healthy scratch, but I would think that Jeff Jackson and the group brought him in just, a bit of a reclamation project. Let's take a flyer. It's a 1-year deal, not that expensive. What if he can play with Connor McDavid? What if he can play with Leon Draisaitl? Well, then it is a cheap and impactful ad. But the one if has failed to this point because he can't. And, he's replaced essentially on the fourth line in yesterday's game against the Ducks. So I would say at this point, it doesn't look like he's a fit. And I guess what, again, backs that statement up is He doesn't create when he's out there. He can't play in the top 6, maybe not even the top 9, and he's not even used on the power play. He's a minimal ad on the power play. So as a coaching staff, if you're not going to lean on what should be his strength, his offense, and you know that defensively he can be a liability, then what's the long-term fit here? And by long-term, rest of this season, not beyond that.
Austin Matthews, he went down with injury just before the Christmas break, didn't return to the lineup for the Leafs this past weekend. Any concern in Toronto that this might go longer than kind of expected, or is this just going to be a few games back out there in the lineup for the Leafs relatively soon?
Well, the only reason there's concern, and it's more in the market than it is organizationally, because obviously, they're on top of it. They know what's going on, specifically what's going on there. My understanding is it's not a structural problem. So, it's just something that is nagging. And beyond that, I mean, I'm not going to take an educated guess as to what, again, the specifics of the injury is. I don't think that's fair to any player in the league. But the fact that he was hampered in training camp, missed some time early in the season, then missed a significant amount of time, and now is out again. That's where the concerning part comes, because, Toronto has been very conservative. And that's to benefit the healing process, to give him the rest, to give him the treatment time necessary to get him as close to 100% as they can. And to this point, it really hasn't worked. And then you add that exploratory trip to Germany, where he had treatment over there to try and expedite the process of return. Looked like it worked initially, but he's not playing the same game that we're accustomed to seeing Austin Matthews play. So he's playing through it. He's tried to play through it and wasn't able to again. So they're willing. Look, it's not about the points. It's not about the games played for Matthews. They need him to get healthy. And it's not about the Four Nations. It's about the Stanley Cup playoffs. They need their captain to be big, good, strong, and ready for the playoffs. Otherwise, if he's not able to go, there's going to be a distinct disadvantage for Toronto. They'll likely be dispatched early again, and then the media around the Toronto Maple Leafs will be talking about a bigger story, and that is, what do they do with the core of this group? So the focus is on getting them healthy in a patient way.
Did Steve Yzerman take too long to make a move on Derek Lalonde? They bring Todd McLellan in, so there's a bit of a circle of life.
Yeah.
He returns to the organization where he got his NHL start, but did Yzerman wait a little long? He's very patient, but maybe too much so.
Well, I guess the critical answer would be, yeah, he probably waited too long, but he's a very patient general manager when it comes to coaching. You look at how he's managed his head coach first in Tampa Bay and now in Detroit. He does not like to play that card. He just doesn't, because he himself as general manager takes responsibility as the architect of that roster. And guys, they're just not good enough. Plain and simple. The Red Wings aren't deep enough, and they're not good enough yet. And that's why he got a little bit testy. I don't know if you saw the media availability after the announced firing of Lalonde and the hiring of Todd McLellan. He's like, hey, you guys have answers. If you have something that we should be doing, please let us know. And here in Canada, we don't have any trouble letting the world know what our views are on how the team could be better and the players that should be brought in and all of that. So I understand his frustration, but at the end of the day, he knows, and he's not shirking any responsibility, that he has to build a better and stronger roster. That's just what his job is now moving forward. I just think it got to a point going into the Christmas break where, all right, we've got to give something back to the fan base here. So, yeah, now he's shifted from being the general manager and trying to make a trade that is meaningful to help this group to selling hope and giving the fan base of the Red Wings something that at least should eject some sort of level of change. We'll see if it works.
Darren, are you a New Year's resolution person?
Not really. I mean, I think like everybody, I'm good at trying to make them. And normally it's just personal goals. It's like getting off my fat carcass and getting back into the workout routine and watching what I eat and drink and all of those things. But I'm not very good at keeping them. I normally last about 10 days, 2 weeks, and then something kind of kicks me off the train. But this year, gosh darn it, I'm going to commit.
This is going to be the one. 2025 is the year of Dreger.
Yes. Well, we'll see if it plays out. But hey, we might have to take a full body shot in about a month from now. I'll do the segment standing up, and you guys can be the judge.
Darren, appreciate the time. Happy New Year to you and yours, and the boys will chat with you on Monday.
You bet. Happy New Year, guys.
Same to you.
Darren
Thanks,
Dreger from TSN, your Pro-Am Sports Hockey Insider. Always good stuff.
You know
Always
what? I
good
was
stuff.
out to see Jack.
Were you?
Yes, had a wonderful visit with him. God, he's got some great stuff, both available in the store itself. And then he's got some really cool things that he keeps in the back. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just on their website, they have a private sign with Grant Fuhr. Deadline's January 18th. They also have a private sign with Matthias Ekholm. Deadline is January 23rd. ProAmSports.ca. Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric, Matt Iwanyk, Dave Jameison in for Dusty and Eric alongside YouTube. Trev, need to get to our cool bet hotline of the day. I just right away, as soon as I threw up cool bet, I saw the Monday Nighter for tonight.
Oh, and?
It's Lions 49ers.
Yes.
Lions need this win. Well, they actually don't need this win. If they win next week, they win the division and the first round bye. But winner like next week we get Lions, Vikings.
Oh,
the NFC
take
North
me to
up
that
for
place.
grabs. Absolutely.
Take me to that night.
North up for grabs. I believe then first round bye is completely up for grabs in that one as well. The 49ers, a lot of promise this year. This would have been at the start of the year, people would have looked at this and went, this is an NFC Championship preview because we'll see these two teams in the NFC Championship game. 49ers, a lot of injuries they had to deal with. But not, they're out of the playoffs, not good. The line's only set at 3.5. And I find that a little low. That, to me, my cool bet hotline of the day, the Lions minus 3.5. The Lions know they want this win. They want to get ready for the Vikings next week. They saw what the Vikings did yesterday to the Packers. I look at the Lions are winning this game probably by a touchdown. So 3.5 points. I will take that. Lions minus 3.5, minus 109 at cool bet. There's your cool bet hotline of the day for today.
Okay. I like that, Matty. You're confident.
I'm usually not that confident when looking at I'm not spreads. I can struggle with pick'ems. I'm a little bit better.
Yeah.
CFL pool. We did one between us and some of the boys with WSD. Not the best. I was joined Reed. He has straight up picks pool with confidence rankings. Came third.
Oh, okay.
Won some cash.
Really?
So I'm a little, but this one minus 3.5. I look at this one. I don't care that the Lions have to travel to the West Coast. They're a good football team. And right now the 49ers aren't as good.
No, they're not.
They lost pretty handily last weekend to the Dolphins.
The 49ers, I have a very soft spot for them.
There is one college football game today. It is the Magical Music City Bowl. Iowa, Missouri, coming up at 12:30.
Okay, I may take a pass on that, but
I hit all of them. I'm also Lucas and we do picks
Lucas
for
Holt.
every game. Lucas Holt, Whale and Wolf, great.
Whale and the
bassist.
Wolf do the musical stingers for you guys.
Well, we have them on our audio stream between shows and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Or when our stream kind of craps out on us, it kicks in, which could.
They're the default music?
Yes. But the thing is, him and I are making picks. Usually one person dominates the picks for the year. Right now, we're dead tied. I got to send him my pick for later today. Maybe he'll miss it. Maybe he'll forget
Every
his
league
pick.
strives for parity, Matty.
It's the first time Lucas and I actually have
every
parity.
good commissioner. One of the mandates when they come into office, we want everyone to succeed.
Actually, speaking of that,
Yes.
soccer overseas.
Okay.
I was going to say they don't have parity, but here's an interesting story. Do you remember Leicester City from a number of years ago when they went and won?
Yes.
Well, Liverpool is playing great football right now. They are having a great season. They looks like they're almost going to run away with England to a degree. But in second place, it's Nottingham Forest, a club I think most people don't even know of.
Oh, I know of Nottingham Forest, but
They are
from
on
decades ago when they were relevant.
Yeah, I believe they won Champions League
Yes, they
years
did.
ago.
Yes.
They are 11-4-4 this season. They are actually playing some great football right now in England. And they are second. They're ahead of Arsenal. They're ahead of Man City. Obviously well ahead of Manchester United, who are not having a good year. We don't need to get into that one. But a great story right now is that Nottingham Forest right now sits second in that table. So you want to talk about maybe a little bit of parity coming to the Premier League.
I can tell you that we are the only.
Those are
people
awful
doing-
headphones.
They really are, and I'm sure they came from a place of love that Will brought these in. But no, they are not doing the job for me today. I've fallen out about 6 times during this hour and a half we've been on the air.
Don't worry. There's only 2 more guests that we have to get to.
That's all right.
That's fine. But yeah, we were probably the only 2 people in, maybe in Canada talking about Nottingham Forest on
Forest,
radio.
yes.
Yeah. Well, this is Nottingham Station. We're gonna jump. Eric's Liverpool, I'm Manchester United, but we need something to bring all of us together. Maybe Nottingham Forest is what brings us all together.
Where is Watford now on the table?
Well, they're not in that league. They're in a league lower. They're
that Elton
they're
John-
7th in championship.
You know that Elton John used to own them, or part owner of them?
I bet he probably still is.
Oh, I think he's out.
Wrexham, where are they doing?
Is Ryan Reynolds buying the Whitecaps?
I will
Is that
actually
the
quickly
hope
talk
for
about
thing?
Whitecaps. I'm glad you brought that up. Watford, yeah.
Like apropos of nothing, I just
who owns
shouted the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Elton John. Oh,
This
actually, Wikipedia has the Elton John era as one of its things.
Oh, okay. Well, there you
Yeah,
go.
so I'm assuming now he's not there anymore. Wrexham is 2nd in their league, which is enough for. Is that direct qualification, like promotion? You might see them in a higher league next year based on this. Just throwing that out there.
Trev, does Matty get unusually fixated on things during the course of a program, like he used to at TSN, where I'd lose him for long chunks of the show, and I'm like, what is going on the other side of the glass?
JMO, some things never change.
Yeah.
Some things never change.
The thing about that though is that, I didn't have to host you, so I could go into my little things,
Yes,
and
go
you're
into your little
there because you have to talk.
Yeah.
I'm
handle it.
I'm kind of the host today, I guess, so I can't do that always. Wrexham would be direct promotion there. When it comes to the Whitecaps, I think you might see the end of Vancouver in MLS. We might be on the verge of the end of Vancouver in the MLS, and we might be on the verge of end of Montreal in MLS. Those are the rumblings.
And that is because doing business in Canada is not.
No, so there's a couple of reasons. Like I think naturally people would love for Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. Then obviously with their Vancouver Whitecaps, the homecoming of Ryan Reynolds, what he's doing with Wrexham and all of that. I think the things that come up with it, there's 2 things. One, the price might be too high for other people to want to buy. I think it's like they're expecting I think they're worth like $400 million or something.
That's the valuation,
Yeah.
right? But
there's
who's buying?
not much like the CFL. They don't own a lot. They don't own BC Place.
They don't own their training facility.
I don't
correct?
believe
I
they
think
do.
It's
Like
with the university out there.
So there's not a lot that they actually you're not buying a lot again when it comes to them. This might be we saw. I think the most recent franchise expansion for San Diego was $500 million US. So it might be cheaper for someone to go buy Vancouver to relocate as opposed to expansion of MLS. The other thing is FIFA likes, and generally how it is countries have their own leagues. You don't have inter-country leagues. You can play between countries, but in the end, England has its league. Germany has its own league. Italy has its own league. Yeah. Mexico has its own league. And I think they would like to see the U.S. have its own league and Canada have its own league. And we have the CPL. So I wouldn't be shocked if over the next couple of years you see Vancouver and Montreal give up their MLS franchises and start playing in the CPL. I don't know what happens with Toronto. Toronto might be that outlier that sticks with MLS, but and we don't get that. But there is York in CPL. But I think there should be more concern right now from a bigger picture of the idea that we have 3 Canadian teams in the MLS, and we're going down to 1 likely in the next few years.
Yeah, it would seem to be counterproductive if we're led to believe the sport is growing in our country, and the numbers in participation would indicate that. But to not have a top-tier league to aspire to.
Flip side to that is
yes,
we can now develop our own league a little bit more, maybe CPL with Vancouver, Montreal involved. But do they have the right leadership in place in the CPL to grow that and us to actually have our own league, which like the CPL for basketball is cool.
Yeah,
I think if you're a university person, you'd want to go play there, play locally and play in that league. Can you do that in soccer where you develop that league and we develop that league, and then that also then like expands to like those players? It's obviously a development league. They jump to whether it be MLS or straight to Europe or something like that. So that I'm glad you brought up Whitecaps because I haven't talked about that since that has happened here. Lucas, by the way, has picked Missouri in that game. I'll take Iowa. I'll go Iowa, Lucas. Just so everyone knows, I got Missouri. He's got Iowa. It's very important. Very important, Dave.
Reassuring that we've got that out of the way now. We cleared the deck for Rishaug, correct?
Yeah, he probably has great Music City Bowl takes later on. Dave Jameison, Matthew Iwanyk, YouTube Trev with you here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. We got a Sports Center update with YouTube Trev, and then I think I heard him. So we will be very shortly joined by Mike Tenier, our Pro-Am Sports football insider right here on the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by Southport Chevrolet. Here's YouTube Trev with a sports update.
Yesterday, Leon Draisaitl scored a pair, but it wasn't enough as the Oilers fall to the Anaheim Ducks by the score of 5-3. The Oilers will continue their road trip tomorrow night for their final game of the year against the Utah Hockey Club. 8 other games around the NHL last night, including the Sabres doubling up on the Blues 4-2. The Red Wings double up on the Capitals 4-2 as well. The Canadiens defeat the Lightning 5-2. The Golden Knights shut out the Flames 3-0. And the Senators edge out the Wild 3-1. Tonight in the NHL, just 3 games dot the schedules as the Rangers head south to take on the Panthers. The Predators visit the Jets, and the Utah Hockey Club visit the Kraken. To the World Juniors we go. Team Canada got back in the win column yesterday, blanking the Germans 3-0. Canada will be back in action on Tuesday when they face the Americans. And 3 other games in the juniors yesterday, which saw Sweden defeating Switzerland 7-5, Finland edging out the US of A 4-3 in overtime, and Czechia doubles up on Slovakia 4-2. In the association yesterday, the Raptors' 9-game losing streak extends to 10 as they lose to the Atlanta Hawks by the score of 136-107. The Raptors will be back in action tomorrow in Boston to take on the Celtics. Tip-off for that one at 1 o'clock. And to finish things off, 9 games in the NFL last night, but only one tonight to cap off Week 17 as the 13-2 Lions take on the 6-9 49ers. Kickoff for this one at 6:15. The sports update brought to you by the fine folks at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki. Mitch's favorite gift for Christmas was seeing JMO on the Nielson Show this morning.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Matthew Iwanyk, Dave Jameison, YouTube Trev. This is the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Presented by Southport Chevrolet. They got the 2025 Silverado Custom with payments as low as $199 bi-weekly. See dealer for details. Visit them at southportchev.com. Get into the Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. We got the A&W text of the day to award in the third hour. I have my leader right now. And it is Rip City Step. I will say that right now. Do you think the Oilers could get Shea Weber for Omark in a second? Hashtag Jameison trade proposal. That is my leader. Clubhouse leader for A&W text of the day. Get those texts in before 8:40-ish. Also, if you have any questions for 3 questions too many, we will get to those. Send those in as well, either in the Nasty Chat or in the Paris Jewelers inbox, and we will get to those just after 8 o'clock. Right now, let's talk some National Football League. As joining us from a Too Deep Zone, his Substack, it is Mike Tenier, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialist. Check out the collection from tokens and icons, which transform NFL, NHL, MLB game-used items into wallets, bottle openers, and cufflinks. Located in Edmonton, corner of St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave. Online, promsports.ca. Mike Tenier now with us here with Matt Iwanyk and Dave Jameison. And Mike, how was your Christmas? Get Santa leave you anything special under the Christmas tree this year?
Santa left me peace and quiet and clarity about the AFC playoffs, because we got a Chiefs win, we got a Ravens win. We know what to expect in the AFC. Then the NFC descended into chaos. But a couple of big wins and a couple of exciting games.
Let's actually go to those Christmas Day games. It was expected to be some big games. You had Chiefs, Steelers, you had Ravens, Texans. End up being largely blowouts in both of those games. Was that just the Ravens and the Chiefs sending a message to the rest of the AFC that it's them two and the Bills and no one else type thing?
It's them two and the Bills and no one else. It was them sending a message. And people can almost forget that the Steelers were the first place team entering those games and the Saturday games before them, where like the same four teams all played each other. And coming out of that, the idea that it feels like it was a million years ago that the Steelers were the first place team and the Ravens were in second place. The Ravens demonstrate how good they are when they're playing to their potential. And the Chiefs did what the Chiefs have done like last couple of years. They kind of flipped that switch. They're getting better now. They're getting healthier now. And they're starting to steamroll opponents where 4 or 5 weeks ago, they were winning by 3 against the Panthers, winning by 3 against the Raiders. Now they're winning by 10 against the Steelers, 10 against the Texans. It's a very different vibe.
Mike, I always watch with some fascination in these panel shows, spend a fair bit of time. It's like a parlor game, trying to figure out who is the team that could overtake or take down the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't think I've landed on a clear, definitive winner. But do you have a team that you say, you know what? In one game, they could knock out the Chiefs?
I think most of us would say the Ravens and the Bills. The Bills won earlier in the season. The Ravens in the season opener, it was a 1-point game. The Ravens could have won it at the end, but Isaiah Likely's toe was on the out-of-bounds marker. But then you look to the rest of the field. Like, okay, we know these three teams. Who else is there? There's nobody. The one team that sort of bubbles up is the Cincinnati Bengals, who won on Saturday. You look at them and say, well, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they can force Patrick Mahomes into a shootout. They can test if his offensive line blocking is good enough. Problem with the Bengals is not only do they need to win, but the Broncos have to lose, and the Dolphins have to lose for the Bengals to even reach the playoffs. So the Dolphins are playing the Jets. The Jets just lost 40 to, I think, 14 by all was said and done. The Broncos are playing the Chiefs, so if the Chiefs want the Broncos in the playoffs, they can just let them win in Week 18. So it's hard to find somebody who's going to crack that ceiling of the Chiefs and those other two teams in the AFC.
I'm glad you mentioned the Cincinnati Bengals there. And there's going to be a lot that is needed for the Bengals to make the playoffs. But Joe Burrow has really carried this team. Should the Bengals make the playoffs, where does Joe Burrow land in the MVP conversation?
It's difficult because as phenomenal a season as he's had, where he's leading the league in most of the raw passing categories. If you start looking at the rates, if you start looking at quarterback rating, efficiency rating, DVOA, QBR, Lamar Jackson is significantly ahead of Burrow, and Allen is neck and neck with Burrow. And then you do have to ask the questions of the quarterback. Now, we all know the Bengals defense has been terrible, okay? But how do you let that team start out 0-3? How do you lose to the Dolphins? And the reason they're in this predicament is they lost to the Dolphins, a team that they should beat. And you say, well, it looks like we have to look at Lamar Jackson and or Josh Allen 1 or 2, and then you put Burrow number 3. The silver lining, Burrow, who got hurt last year, is probably going to win Comeback Player of the Year award. There will be some recognition for the season he's having, but it's kind of been a missed opportunity for a team that wasn't strong enough earlier in the year when they had to be in the playoffs now.
Mike, I watched Enigma. And I left that 3-episode effort thinking, I would go on a retreat. I would like Aaron Rodgers to be my personal shaman, and I would go anywhere on the planet with him and for him. And then I watched him play football, and I went, I don't want him running my offense. Yeah. His downfall and his unraveling as a football player has been quite amazing to witness.
It has been. Stop watching Enigma. I'm a little worried now.
Yes, well, I am too, Mike, frankly.
We just met, and the second thing you've ever told me is that you want Aaron Rodgers to take you on a retreat. I'm a little shaky.
Yes. Well,
I get it. There's an unusual charisma to the individual, which has carried him for decades. His unraveling is remarkable. It's amusing in some ways because there's a little bit of shade and flaw. It's a little sad. It should not be unexpected. We are talking about a 41-year-old athlete coming off of an Achilles tear, which is such a significant injury, and expecting him to come in and play at this high level with the chaos around him, with some of the chaos we heard about the Jets organization, with the chaos he causes for himself with his charismatic personality. It should not be shocking. I don't know what the next step is. There's rumblings about benchings. He's mad about being benched at the end of yesterday's game, which is kind of for his protection. There's rumblings about a release. I don't know what happens next. It is a shame to see a Hall of Famer, a legend, kind of go out this way.
Saquon Barkley, New York Giants didn't want to sign him. They have the season that they had this year. He goes to the Eagles, and he puts up 2,000 yards in this season. Is this going to go down as one of the biggest blunders in free agency that we've seen in, maybe modern NFL history?
I say this, if Barkley stayed on the Giants, he would not have 2,000 yards. The Giants might have one more win. He'd probably have 1,300 yards. So it was a blunder, but it's more a matter of Barkley needed the Eagles needed Barkley. The blunder comes down to not just the Giants not being able to sign him, but the Giants committing to Daniel Jones. The Giants being unable to sign Xavier McKinney, who's had a great year for the Packers and helped turn the Packers defense around. The Giants have done many, many things wrong, but the Eagles are the beneficiary for this, and I'll say this about Saquon Barkley. I'm based here in Philadelphia. I've never experienced a season that felt as good as Saquon Barkley's 2,000-yard season. When the Eagles had the third-string quarterback in the game yesterday, they needed a win. They had the backup at the start of the game. When you know that you're going to get 150 yards from a running back, that he can carry things, that when you take a lead, you can hold on to the lead, it was amazing. And that's what Saquon Barkley accomplished this year.
Coaching an NFL team, coaching any football team is not easy, Mike, but are you startled in any way at the number of clock mismanagement incidents we've had this year in the National Football League? Given the resources they have, doesn't mean you're going to get every one of them correct, but how often it happens?
I am startled, and I'm startled at the severity of the mistakes. A lot of times when we do a clock management complaint, it's esoteric. Well, he should have done this here, and he should have done that there. And it can be a little bit like, are you sure that's really the right clock management? We got guys just not calling timeouts. Just not calling timeouts, or calling timeouts because they're trailing and they sent the punt unit on by mistake, which is what the Bears did the other day. And that's it. We saw one last night in Atlanta. We saw one with the Bears. We saw one earlier in the year with the Bears. And I think these guys are like losing the forest from the trees. I saw someone say it on Blue Sky yesterday. They're so worried about not giving the other chance to score that they forget to score themselves, that they forget that they need the points to win the game. And I think that's what we saw with the Falcons last night. It cost them the game. It may cost them their season.
Monday nighter tonight, Lions, 49ers. What do you expect in this one?
Well, it's funny. The Lions have nothing to play for now. Their big game is next Sunday. This game does not matter for playoff seedings. So I expected the line to move a little bit. And I think it moved a little bit. Right now, the Lions are -3.5 favorites. But everybody's thinking the same thing. Dan Campbell ain't resting those starters. Dan Campbell ain't changing his game plan. Dan Campbell's going to go out there and try to win by 60, whether it matters or not. So that's why I expect against a Lions team that wants to stay sharp and a 49ers team that's ready for the end.
Okay, and I got to ask you, Mike.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Pop-Tarts Bowl this past weekend? Any thoughts on the Pop-Tarts Bowl?
I watched a little bit of it because I wanted to see Cam Ward play, and I think by the time I tuned in, he had already noped out. I loved the sprinkles on the sideline.
Yes.
But I was doing a lot of things. I had to watch the NFL, of course. I didn't see the toasting. I missed the toasting.
Mike, all you have to do is search Pop-Tart Bowl on Blue Sky, Twitter, wherever. You'll see many videos of them, and you could watch the live toasting of the Pop-Tart and the execution of the Pop-Tart, if you will. And it is as glorious as you could imagine. I will just say that, Mike. So do yourself a favor today and find it at some point.
I will. It's the proud sacrifice of a willing and consensual Pop-Tart for the greater glory of Pop-Tarts.
Well put, and so true.
Happy New Year to you, Mike. The boys will chat with you next week as we will be talking some playoffs, getting set for playoffs in the NFL. Have a good one, Mike.
Take care. Happy New Year, everyone.
Same to you, Mike.
Mike Tenier, 2 Deep Zone Substack. Check him out. Mike Tenier on Twitter. And he mentioned Blue Sky there.
Yes.
Are you on Blue
Are
Sky?
you guys? I'm not. Are you guys on Blue Sky?
I have an account. I haven't posted yet.
Okay.
I don't know.
You're just lurking?
I don't even lurk as much. I do feel like I have to. Mike Tenier. He's Mike Tenier on Blue Sky. You can just look that up. I'll give a follow right now to Mike Tenier.
Okay.
So there you go.
When and if I go to Blue Sky, and I'm not actively seeking out other platforms, what should I find there on Blue Sky? Is it just X Lite?
Like, what do you think? What do you expect? Like, are you asking what is Blue Sky like? What's the environment like?
Yes. What's the environment like?
Without trying to get political, because politically, I'm not opening up anything here. It's more left, obviously. Twitter's now more right. Naturally, take that for what you will. It's right now.
Twitter's also a lot of stuff that's telling me how to get better abs and workouts.
Well, Twitter also, like, Blue Sky is that new thing. You know, Twitter was what Blue Sky was. You know, Twitter was that 15 years ago. So it's that new, you know, fresh car smell type thing.
Oh,
all that stuff. So everything seems great in it. Everything's lovely and joyous, and everyone's getting along and stuff. Give it 10 years, and it'll be another.
It'll be tired
cesspool and stuff and all that. But right now, like that would be one of the other differences. That, you know, Blue Sky, it's more friendly inside. I mean, interactions
more welcoming.
More welcoming. I think right now they do a better job of getting rid of bots.
Not mentally corrosive at all.
So
yet
we'll
get there though.
You can get Mike Tenier on either of those or on a Substack. 2 Deep Zone. You're right about the coaches messing up. Like watching that Atlanta yesterday, and I know it's happened. There's other ones, but that one, like, they're driving down the field. They have two timeouts, not even one timeout.
Didn't you have 5 left at the end of the? Like
you have one.
Timeouts are not like nuts for a squirrel, where you put them in a little place and then come back to them later.
You come into a game at the end of the year and you have 15 timeouts because you save them all year.
Yeah.
Like, but they have 2. Like, if you have one, I could understand that you're saving it for the field goal attempt.
Okay.
That's generally what happens. I could live, but you have 2, so you have 1 to play with. It's 20 some seconds to go. You make that big play to midfield. That's not a spike the ball situation.
Falcons had 5 timeouts unused
in the entire game.
Last.
Oh, jeez. It's like the amount of time that it takes to run to the line and set up to spike it. The amount of time you've killed there. Because you had a big gain on that play, it's worth the timeout.
He was treating them like air miles.
And what's crazy is this is a situation where I don't know how many people out
Trev
there.
like that, he got it.
Fans.
He got it.
Just all over the place. Anyone watching that game would be screaming, timeout, timeout, timeout. And it's one of those moments you can sit and be like, I'm smarter than an NFL coach right now. In that instant, most people would have called the timeout.
You and I know no one is smarter than an NFL coach.
I think Raheem Morris did say, I think, either early, unused timeout could have helped Falcons. No kidding. He said calling the timeout after a key first down catch, quote, could have been a better decision than running a hurry-up play. You think?
Well,
you think?
But I maintain that football players and coaches, if they were vehicles, they would come with no reverse capability. At least there's an admission that he could have made a better decision. A lot of coaches just dig in and say, no.
Yes.
You go back and review that. I made the right call, or we made the right call.
Need to get to the Century Casino Monday night challenge, where every day is a game day. Today, the loaded burger is on special. You can go check the Monday nighter down there at Century Casino. As I mentioned earlier, -3.5. The Lions are favored in this game. If you believe the Lions will cover that, text in Lions. If you think the 49ers will cover the 3.5 spread, text in 49ers. And tomorrow we'll make a draw for whoever's correct, and you'll win a gift certificate to a Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. You can set those aside until Ryan Rishaug's on at 8:30.
I'm going to do this. That's my policy now moving forward. I'll only have these on for the guests.
Maybe, I guess the ear things are too small. I don't know if Will brought any of those. I'll let him know that it was a very kind gesture.
Of course it is. It doesn't diminish the thought that went into it. Whales don't have ears, do they? They just have sort of like
whales don't have ears?
They don't have ears, do they, Trev? I'm just trying to think of what in the animal kingdom would be the equivalent of me, because somehow these don't fit in my ears.
Yeah, I know, like, ears. Like they might have like ear holes, but they
That's
don't
what
have.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, right?
They do have ears, but they're different from human ears and have evolved to function underwater, they say. They don't have external ears like humans.
No.
Kind of like owls.
So
They don't have external ears.
Really?
Yeah. They're kind of just like holes on the side of their head. It's weird.
and owls can hear like
Very well.
things.
They have
Very well.
highly refined
Yeah.
hearing capabilities, do they not?
Yes.
Okay. How do you know so much about owls? Is this a Lethbridge
Well,
thing?
no, that's funny. That's so weird. I watched a video the other day of just an owl, and it's just like, have you ever seen an owl's ear? And then it was just like, no, I haven't. And then I think it was on Instagram or something like that.
Of course,
And then,
all the good stuff is, Trev.
yes.
You know that.
And then, I was just like, oh, that's what an owl's ear looks like. It was very neat, interesting. Never seen anything like it.
Learn something new. Need to get to the fan zone.
Yes.
Brought to you by Fans First. The fan zone. Brought to you by Fan First, as I said. By fans. For fans. No fees. Get your Oiler tickets all season long. Fans First. .ca. Text your texts in to the Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. I do have a Teef mad with an LOL at the end, so maybe not too mad. What the heck is the point of even trying to win text of the day? You try to be funny and get no recognition. The text I missed from him today. I didn't see this. Good morning, everyone. You are welcome back. When I tuned in this morning, I was expecting to hear your Oiler talk, but I hear dog collar talk. I was thinking I should put a dog collar on, and every time I push my wheelchair, I'm going to get shocked. That could also make your voice go up. Atif. There, we read your text, Atif.
And I think Atif is the only person that can make that joke. Fair?
I stand.
And we love Atif. We love Atif.
At the Nasty Bash this year, he came up to me and he told, I forgot what the joke was, but it was about like standing up or sitting down or something. And it was only, he's the only one that could say it. And it was hilarious. And I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, Atif, I can't say that, but you can. And that's hilarious.
Well,
I love Atif for those jokes. Like, they're amazing.
Cam Tate, who I've known, and you guys are very familiar with our friend Cam Tate. There was, I don't know when in my relationship with Cam, I was comfortable enough when I would see him, and it was always wonderful to be in his company. And I would say, Cam, no, please, don't get up. And I don't know when I was able to sort of, and Cam never got angry. He got it. But yes, Atif, you're right. And dog collars was not where we should have been spending our time. It should have been getting very, very angry about the Oilers.
Always getting angry about the Oilers.
No, I don't agree with that. Disappointed, but not angry.
Oh, did one of those
there is
pulled
a
on,
difference.
did a mom pull that on them yesterday?
I'm not angry. I'm
That was a
merely
fine
disappointed.
trip, but it ended with a disappointing loss. I'm not disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. Did one mom pull that out with one of their kids?
I don't think so, but if I was one of the players and my mom said that to me, and I'd go, how are you enjoying living mortgage-free in those new cars in the driveway that just sort of ended up there? So, yes, thank you, Mom. I love you, too, but I'll do the hockey.
Your text to the Paris Jewelers inbox, who are family owned and operated, 22 stores in 4 provinces across Canada, large and high quality selection of engagement rings, including lab created at great prices, plus exclusive Star Wars and Marvel wedding bands.
I am looking at the logos of the various shows here in this.
Where are you looking at that?
Well,
you're just on our website?
No, I'm just playing around here while
Okay.
you're talking and holding forth and reading live tags with great skill. I really like the Reed Wilkins show with J. Milne logo. Like, I could see that on a T-shirt.
We did not make that as a T-shirt.
No? Oh,
No, I think
might
that's what
recommend
I
it.
think next year, because we had our EST store that came up.
Yes. How did you do with that? Did it do
Pretty
some-
good.
Okay.
Yeah, and I bought some other, I bought extra inventory to sell throughout the year. Next year, and that's coming up for the extra inventory will come up for sale in January. So stay
See how
tuned.
we slid into that
including
pitch for merchandise?
By the way, I'm wearing it today. I don't want people to see my hair too much.
Is this new?
This is the Edmonton Sports Talk Riverhawks inspired colored hat.
Oh.
That you can get. We don't have a lot of these ones up. I think I only have like 10 of them. So we also have Oiler color ones.
As you would.
We did Elks last year. We did the green and gold, or U of A, whichever way you want to look at it. And then we have our normal hats, which cover the Edmonton Stingers. So we had our this is our city edition. We're into a situation here at EST. We're doing City Edition hats.
City Edition.
City
yes.
Edition.
You know you've been around a long time. This is how many years? When's second anniversary?
September.
Oh, yes.
But so I think for next year, maybe I'll do like show specific merch only. Instead of like all EST, maybe like create
like a
some of
Reed
these
Wilkins
things.
show shirt or scarf or whatever.
I do like the green and
do.
gold one, pre and post game that I have, with the helmets and all of that. The golf show was really a good one.
I've taken you down the rabbit hole, Trev.
do
You see,
not-
I haven't lost a step
do
when
not-
it comes
there
to
it
this.
is.
Tube Socks.
Yes.
Shout out
does
to-
not want you to talk about the two guys because he didn't do the two guys.
Oh,
So heads up.
okay. But yeah, there's some really good work here.
All very lovely. Tube
Yes,
socks.
yes. Some great skill. Okay. I was giving you, like I used to do with, during the show, I'd walk you into segments to allow you to talk about yourself, or in this case,
That's
about
right.
your business.
About what we do.
Yes.
And I didn't even tell you to do that. You just knew.
I just knew instinctively.
That's just that's the chemistry we have. That's what
Yes,
happens
that's
when
the
you
chemistry.
work 9 years together doing a show.
Yes.
You develop that.
Unhappily together for 9 years.
Well, at least 8.5.
8.5, yes.
There have been some good times there.
No, there were. At
least some of them.
Free agent frenzy.
Free agency was always a good one.
And the Taylor Hall trade.
Oh my God, that was a wild day. 'Cause that was
Yes.
Hall, that was Subban, and that was Stamkos re-signing. And then I had to rush down to the rink to get to Tampa. And do you remember?
Who says hockey players are boring? Not that day.
I'm going to say this right now.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to ask you. Do you remember who the guest was on air
Not by
when?
name, by topic.
Because we had someone on, and then I had to go in here and be like, I think Taylor Hall's getting traded. And then you asked another couple questions, and then it was like, yeah, Bob McKenzie says 1-for-1, and then you had to end it.
And I entered it, I'm sure, awkwardly for the guest and the listener.
I know who it is.
I remember the topic because it was, it was one of those days where, and if you do a sports talk show, as we are doing here, there are times in the year you're looking for guests. If you just don't want to regurgitate fourth line Oilers issues or whatever it is, okay, let's try something new, right? Or go off the grid and find something that's a little bit unique. And so there was an author had written a really good piece about Lenny Dykstra, the former Major League player, and a very good one, and of his downfall. Like he had fallen on very hard times. And this guy had written it with, insight and humor, and it was one of those pieces. It was a long form read, and I thought, let's get this dude on it. So we found him, and we're rolling along and having a great old time until Taylor Hall got shipped out of town.
It was
There
Scott
was some
Miller.
chaos.
Scott Miller was the
Scott
writer.
Miller.
He was the writer. We said we'd have him on to talk about it again because he was understanding. As a writer, he understands
Yeah, he
breaking
understood.
news. We never had him on again to talk about that
No.
article about Lenny Dykstra. But yeah, it was Scott Miller.
That was really good.
Butsky always brings this up.
What's that?
The day that Matty went off on traffic circles was pretty epic.
Oh, yeah.
It will go better here.
The city engineering department was probably not pleased with us. But yes.
With visuals, I'll go better. I was trying to explain it. I remember trying to figure out what's the inside and the outside lane, and Trev's really giving me this like,
I'm on the
Very
other side of the
interesting.
glass because I can see what's unfolding and I can see the text
brother.
coming in. And traffic circles, it strikes a raw nerve in the city.
It does because most people don't know how to use them.
Well, yeah,
Well, it
that's
feels
one
like
of the problems.
Or
with
you just
them.
get that one idiot that doesn't know how, and you're like, oh, okay. But then I was trying to explain which lanes, and I was trying to figure out inside curb, outside curb. Are we talking about inside curb of the circle inside or inside curb? And it was just very. But here, I could grab a paper probably, or
Yes,
I could
you
do, and
could.
people could see it. Like the audio people, our audio stream, I'm still screwed.
You could use this.
Or I could use
you
the
not?
screen here, and I could like point to it and be like, see, this is what I'm
Steve
talking about.
Kornacki? Is it who's the guy that they
It's
bring-
Steve Kornacki's MSNBC,
Right.
and he does the NFL Sunday Nighter one.
Yes.
I'm a John King guy.
Well,
Of course,
he's
of course
the
I'm a
original
guy.
big board guy, right? John King?
Yeah, for all that stuff.
Yeah.
Once married to Dana Bash. Weirdly enough. Why do I know these things? I don't know. Don't ask.
And there's a factoid. I didn't know that either. And I'm not sure I cared, but
That was one
yes.
that you're probably like, really pondering this Christmas break. Who
Yes,
was
I
Sean
was.
King once married to?
Right.
And now you'll always have that answer. Matt Iwanyk, Dave Jameison, YouTube Trev with you here on the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by Southford Chevrolet. In the next hour of the show, we have Ryan Rishaug, Got Your Back Monday Morning Mandates. We got to get to the snow report from Marvin Basin. The wrap brought to you by William Huff. We got That Hurts for James H. Brown. 3 questions for Park Mazda. I still need a couple of questions. Jasmine did send one in, so I might use that one. I need one more. We also got Kind of Easy Trivia. I got to actually write out Kind of Easy Trivia here. But if you want to get into Kind of Easy Trivia, text us. Pick me to 780-218-9999. Trev will get someone. He's also got a sports update coming up when we come back. It is the third hour of the Nielsen Show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports.
Yesterday, Leon Draisaitl scored a pair, but it wasn't enough as the Oilers fall to the Anaheim Ducks by the score of 5-3. The Oilers will continue their road trip tomorrow night for their final game of the year against the Utah Hockey Club. 8 other games around the NHL last night, including the Sabres doubling up on the Blues 4-2. The Red Wings double up on the Capitals 4-2 as well. The Canadians defeat the Lightning 5-2. The Golden Knights shut out the Flames 3-0, and the Senators edge out the Wild 3-1. Tonight in the NHL, just 3 games dot the schedule as the Rangers head south to take on the Panthers. The Predators visit the Jets, and the Utah Hockey Club visit the Kraken. To the World Juniors we go. Team Canada got back in the win column yesterday, blanking the Germans 3-0. Canada will be back in action on Tuesday when they face the Americans. And 3 other games in the juniors yesterday, which saw Sweden defeating Switzerland 7-5, Finland edging out the US of A 4-3 in overtime, and Czechia doubles up on Slovakia 4-2. In the association yesterday, the Raptors' 9-game losing streak extends to 10 as they lose to the Atlanta Hawks by the score of 136-107. The Raptors will be back in action tomorrow in Boston to take on the Celtics. Tip-off for that one is at 1 o'clock. And to finish things off, 9 games in the NFL last night, but only 1 tonight to cap off Week 17 as the 13-2 Lions take on the 6-9 49ers. Kickoff for this one at 6:15. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Visit www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call at 780-910-6728.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad cats like Rishaug and Noodles. Captain can gauge it. If it's a fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat us the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macaramella, Rapaport, Dreger and Tanier. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about a given person, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
This is the Nielsen Show presented by Southford Chevrolet. Matt Iwanyk, Dave Jameison, YouTube Trev with you here. And we need someone to play Kind of Easy Trivia for a $25 GC to Mr. Mike's. No one's got in. No one's wanted to play so far. $25. That easy. It's actually like, I've said it, like you should easily get 3 out of 5. Honestly, you should be able to get 4 out of 5. Easily. Like super easily. Like without question. So basically, you're winning $25 to Mr. Mike. So you just have to text in 780-2899.
It's a tap-in
pretty
putt.
much.
Yeah.
But now you got to be that first person to text in, because I think a couple people will text in, and no one's texted in to want to win that GC to Mr. Mike's. So kind of easy trivia coming up in a little bit. Once Trev can get someone on the line, otherwise Trev's going to play. If no one texts in right away, Trev's going to get a play for $25
Tell me you guys
to Mr.
don't
Mike's.
do that. I mean, that's
I've
an
never
old
done it.
radio
They
trick
have.
where somebody on the inside wins the
but it's
contest.
Not, you're playing for someone, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
you play
we
for
did the
someone.
proxy.
No, I'm gonna.
Okay.
I was gonna be like, no, Trev gets the play for the 25 to Mr. Mike. I will write him down on the prize sheet, and he could come pick it up in our office. A couple people have now texted in, so we'll get that right away. Then we got to get to 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. Later on, that hurts. That hurts. Could lead to the controversy of the year for Edmonton Sports Talk. That's my little. They call that a tease in the industry.
Yes, they do.
They call that
yes,
a
they
tease.
do. Well done.
Get people set up. Ryan Rishaug, got your back morning mandate. He will stop by. Marmot Basin Snow Report on the Wrap, brought to you by William Huff, your good friend, Bruce Simpson. And
Oh,
William
the
Huff.
best. Working the World Juniors right now in
Oh, is
Ottawa.
he?
Yes.
I did not know.
Yes.
Wait, I think I know
Bruce
that.
Simpson. Yeah.
He just does everything.
Oh, he does, and does very well at all of it. Yeah.
Well, you
He's
don't
an
get to
awesome
do the
guy.
Grey Cup and the World Juniors and all that if you aren't good at what you do, I would say.
Oh no, and does all the stuff down at Rogers Place.
And Saddle Dome.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Also does the dome down there. Okay.
Yeah, just everywhere. Does some great things. So we will get to that later on in this hour. Dave will be back tomorrow as well on the morning show with myself, and then I won't be doing the morning show. Hopefully
What
for a
are
long
you
time.
doing on the days you're not?
On my regular
with Eric,
job.
and I'm
Eric's
regular
back.
job. Yeah.
Eric's back. So I will do the hangout. I also have to do 2 guys and a goalie in the oil stream on Thursday, Friday as well, within my other office work. Whereas, from the old place, I make it look like I'm working. But
No,
the question
I
really
will
comes
grant you
is,
this.
do I work?
But you're doing and I, obviously I know what you guys have been doing here, and I'm impressed by what you guys have built, right? I mean, I came in and before you'd even opened up to look around. But to see it now to the place where it's at is hugely impressive to all of you guys. I mean, the work you've done is really cool.
You're also part of EST history for the first one to swear on EST.
Oh, that's
on the Hangout.
right.
Yeah, so congratulations. Although Guy Flaming was the first one to use the F word.
What?
Yeah, of all people, Guy.
Guy likes to work blue.
We had him on the Hangout. I got to get Guy back on the Hangout. He was on and he just dropped it and I kind of just didn't say anything about it after. And then I pointed out, I'm like, you're the first one to do that. Congratulations, Guy.
Was it in reference to a hockey prospect playing down south?
Actually, I don't know what it was for.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. But yeah, it was of all the people we had through the first 15 months of it, you'd be like, who said the first F word? I don't think a lot of people would be like, Keith
I
Fleming.
always liked having Guy on as a guest because, like many of the guests we had on our show, they made us smarter.
Oh,
like he, as somebody who knows their particular area, whatever it is. I mean, in his case, pipeline and hockey prospects. I love that stuff. I don't have the capacity to absorb it all, but I know when someone does, let them go.
in my
talk.
in my early days at 1260, I'd produce some of the draft shows. There'd be guys taken that they would go and you'd be like off the board, the board, and you'd be like, I don't know who the heck this is, but Guy knew. Oh yeah, this player played for Boston College for this number of years, and he interviewed them on the Pipeline Show. It's absolutely incredible what Guy does. Yeah. Season 20 of the Pipeline Show he's in right now, by the way.
Season 20.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's been going that long. Let's get to kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's GC. Let the festivities begin. You're invited to Mr. Mike's Fiesta Fusion. Celebrate the flavors of their new Mexican and Spanish-inspired features. Plus $1 from every feature entree sold will help nourish a hungry child through a local breakfast program in this community. Join the Fiesta Fusion at your local Mr. Mike's. Eat locally. Enjoy casually. Who do we got on the line, Trev?
This is Chris.
Chris, have you ever played Kind of Easy Trivia before?
I have that at the old place, not the new one.
Perfect. So then you know how this works. I will ask you 5 questions. You need to get 3 of 5 right to win the gift certificate. The ticker will start after the first question. Are you ready?
Yep.
Trev, are you ready with the ticker?
Of course.
Dave, are you ready to just sit there?
Yes, always.
Perfect. And I'm
Staring
ready with the
blankly.
questions. Okay, here we go, Chris. Did the Oilers win yesterday?
No.
Who scored 2 goals for the Oilers yesterday?
Leon.
Name 1 team playing in the Monday Nighter tonight.
The Lions.
Who won it yesterday? Team Canada or Germany?
In Canada.
Is the Pop-Tarts Bowl the greatest bowl game ever?
100% agreed.
5 for 5.
Yeah.
5 for 5.
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am. Get it right.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
That's a peddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Ooh, you better believe that's a peddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a peddling.
The first year we took it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Chris does it. Crushes it. Very glad that he got the Pop-Tarts one right, too.
And you know what I noticed there? Chris was not overly confident. I mean, there was just a calm reserve. He just had it.
He was Roger Federer.
Yeah.
No
That's
sweat, five sets.
Yeah. You just knew.
I got this.
Yeah. A little bit of a wobble on the
Monday Nighter. Just
Other
Chris
than
Leon. Less than 2 goals last night. Of course it was Leon. What kind of question is that, basically?
You know what? It's funny doing a show here and a day after Oilers lose to the Ducks. We haven't really done much discussion around that game itself, other than sort of a quick little hit with Dreger. I'm surprised.
Well, I did the morning after show, but it's they're 7-2-1. It's a lot, and it's at Christmas time. This is why I always love working Christmas time.
Oh, I see where you're going. Yeah,
it's everyone's.
We don't actually have to do our jobs well. We just have to show up.
No, everyone's in a better mood. Like obviously post game yesterday. Like I'm not seeing I saw Tommy after post game yesterday. I was like, how did it go? I was like, oh, it's fiery. I'm not seeing any of that today in the Paris Jewelers inbox, in the nasty chat. Like I think people, because it's almost New Year's. We got a day off in a couple days. And enjoy the new calendar flip. The Nielsen Show presented by Southfort Chevrolet. They've got the 2025 Silverado Custom with the payments as low as $199 bi-weekly. See dealer for details. SouthfortChev.com. We are live in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. As we mentioned earlier, you can get the 3-piece signature chickens for just $5, opening up in 2 hours or 2.5 hours, depending which side of town you're in. If you want that Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen, it is the Popeyes studio. You gotta pay attention to when those open, Dave. Lunchtime.
Yes,
you gotta plan your day properly, and that with that type of deal, there might be you don't want them to run out of chicken.
I drove by the new Krispy Kreme location.
Were you able to drive by?
Well, I drove by it at a high rate of speed going down Calgary Trail. They got security.
There's the huge lines.
Well, I mean, good for them. I'm all for the commerce.
If you wait a couple months,
for the commerce. Yeah, well,
you can go try. It's like I've had Krispy Kreme donut in my life,
and they're wonderful.
Sure, I could wait a few extra months to go try it. I don't know why. Like, would you ever wait? Actually, I got a third question.
I have waited in line for. Okay.
Let's get to 3 questions too many. Brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where Mitch was one of the Pop-Tarts mascot at the Pop-Tart Bowl. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. 3 questions too many. Let's start right there. What is there something food-wise or drink-wise you would wait in a hours-long line for to get? Travel, throw you this one. We saw it with Chipotle a couple months ago. We saw with now, as you mentioned, Krispy Kreme. Yeah. There's been a few others.
Peter's
driving,
yes. Right on. Yeah.
Is there something you would wait in line for hours? Are you gonna put that S on there? Because I'm going to go food or drink. Like, is there someone out that you would wait to go get if it came to Edmonton?
Okay, I'm gonna go with. I'm sorry if to be a Debbie Downer, but no, I would not. I'd wait and wait, like maybe months until there was no line, so I'd go. Because what opened up in the mall? You said Chipotle.
Yeah, it was Chipotle. Was one, or Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Those
Oh
ones.
yeah.
Yeah, and I saw the videos, and I was like, "What's this lineup for?" I could not get over the fact that people were lining up for fries, like hundreds of people. It was ridiculous. So no, like I have way better things to do. I'd just go to Popeyes instead.
Oh, did you see what he did?
Yes.
3 pieces for $5.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I caught that.
I couldn't. There's nothing.
No, there's nothing I would line up for and spend hours waiting. I mean, God, we used to sleep overnight to get concert tickets in a bygone era.
That's different.
I'd go
a video
back-
game, maybe.
If they went back to concert tickets, you have to go stand in line. There's probably an act out there that I would stand in line for tickets to go see a concert, because when that concert comes and goes, it's not coming back again. Like, it's not something I can get. I can't get that concert for
If I
like
wait
every
2
day
months,
for 3
I'll
months or
see
something, right?
Yes.
Band
Whereas
X or
here,
whatever,
it's
you know.
I'm wasting 2-3 hours of my life to stand in this line and progress to get closer, where it's not that important to me, and I could get this 3 months later. So I'm with to Trev, and like I don't think there's food for me. Joelle's texting and saying my son waited hours in line at Toronto for an In-N-Out pop-up. I love In-N-Out. I wouldn't wait in line for In-N-Out if it came to Edmonton. Was it Shake Shack or something?
Yes.
There's this burger place. I had it in Vegas. It was delicious. It was amazing. One of the better fast food burgers I've ever had. I think they're starting to come to Canada. I would love if it came to Edmonton. I'd go eat it. I don't need to be one of the first to eat it, though. I will wait a few months because I don't need to wait in that line.
And it's usually sloppy. Like when you got that big of a lineup,
it's
just
quality control.
Yeah, like they're like, "Okay, let's go. Get the fries out there. Get the burgers. Let's go." You know, so it's not nearly as good. So you wait it out.
I don't think there'd be anything for me.
No.
Food or drink wise.
Yeah, a movie different. A movie I'd wait.
I will admit, and this I'm not just sucking up because I'm here for my gift certificate. I did go and seek out your beer.
Oh, 6 o'clock or lager?
Yeah.
Good answer.
No, and I did. I went to a number of outlets, and it was just after it launched.
Well, there was waiting lists.
Yes.
Now, with that we didn't know it was going to be a permanent beer at the time.
Well, that's right. It was a short
We were
run.
going to
That's how you pitched it.
and then that's how it was going to go. In the 6 o'clock lager, we then did another. I was sitting there.
Yeah, you're a
brewing this.
brewmaster.
Alley
Okay.
Cat brewed another one, and then that sold so quick that as they brewed the third one, I think it went. They finally we're adding this permanently to our lineup. So initially, it was actually like, okay, this is limited edition type thing. See, and even I don't think I could wait for a movie because I think in the course of its run in theaters, I'm going to find a time I can go see it. I don't need to wait in line. And I guess the one where it's the spoilers. You're worried about possibly getting spoiled. That'd be the thing.
Like, because are you not? I mean, sure, there are going to be people that love, to Trev's point, that they love those particular fries. But are you just kind of doing it for bragging rights? Hey, I was first in line and I had the first whatever from this outlet. Look at me.
I think there's a lot of bragging rights.
It's you can post it on Insta.
Yeah, which is
well, yes, always the gram.
It fell again.
Yeah,
Got Your Back podcast, which is Ryan Rishaug in the Nasty Chat.
Oh,
Hate
yes.
standing in lines with a passion. Almost nothing I'm willing to line up for. Even Rishaug says so.
I agree.
He'd line up for a good interview. You see? Post game?
Second question.
Yep.
I'm going to actually throw this out to you, Trev, and to our nasties. This is from Scott on a hotel balcony in Beaumont, which, by the way, there are no hotels in Beaumont. We learned this.
No way.
There's 0 hotels in Beaumont. It was a big morning show one day. They learned this. You got to go to Nisku or whatever for a hotel.
And they've done this by design. Beaumont does
I
not
don't know.
once.
Yeah, Trev, were you on the show at the time for that?
Yes, I was.
Did we figure out the answer of why there's no hotels?
No, we didn't.
Okay. So Beaumont just does things that way.
It's just weird.
Scott says, I have a question for JMO. Which EST person would you go on a weekend to Vegas with? Which one would you be roommates with?
Aaron
and
Rodgers.
which one would you fire? EST.
Oh, damn it.
So weekend in Vegas, roommates, and fire. Trev, I'm going to throw that your way too, and to the Nasties.
Fire you.
Makes sense.
Eric Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And what was the
roommates?
Gazzola. No,
His place is very tidy.
Oh, I've
been in there a few times. It's very tidy.
I mean, look at the way he dresses and the way, just his general overall packaging.
Rather borderline minimalist too and stuff, which would suit you very much.
Yes. So there.
YouTube Trev.
Fire Iwanyk.
That's good.
Live with Gazzola.
Okay.
And party like a demon with Eric.
Yep. I like what you said about the LT there. Go to Vegas. It would probably be LT for me or Glue Guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Glue Guy knows. Yeah. I mean,
follow him on the roulette table.
Yeah. Like
I've learned this.
He knows what he's doing.
He wins on the roulette table. Follow him.
He knows his way around the table.
Yeah.
So I'd say Glue Guy. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go with Glue Guy. I think we'd have a lot of fun.
That's
roommate.
a solid one.
I think Maddie. I'd pick you as a roommate. I think.
What was that look for, Dave?
I like someone
taking him back right there, like, how dare you?
I shared a room with him for, 9 years?
9 years?
Yeah. On a level, it may sound appealing.
Yep.
It's not.
It was the best room in that office.
I feel like...
Yeah, that's true, which I know low bar in that building, but yes.
Yeah, like I just feel like cleanliness. I feel like Maddie's very clean, and I don't know any of the other boys are that clean. So that's a huge reason why I'd pick Matty, and he's one of my bros, right, Matty?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Now I'm very intrigued though because I'm like the easy one to fire. Who are you firing?
Yeah, and then I think it would be funny. I'd fire Dusty. I think that'd be funny. Like, hey, Dusty, I'm firing you. By the way,
Dusty's own company gets fired from.
I think that'd be funny.
I like that one. Those are good responses. I will say that.
Oh yeah, when you get done in by your own staff.
Yep. Dusty, you're fired.
Rishaug has Lieutenant Eric for all three.
Oh,
which I don't think that's how the game goes.
We could do that. That's
live with Eric, party with Eric, but also fire Eric.
Fire you too.
After doing the first two with him, yes.
Andrew in the nasty chat to go to Vegas. Jasmine can't pick the other two though. She doesn't know what to pick. The rookie does that. Is JMO just here for this week because after a year and a bit, someone finally needed to clean up after Dusty?
Well, now there's someone who remembers my Project Mold when I took over Dustin's. I did a takeover of his hockey bag. Yes, and took that on as a personal project. I don't.
Somebody mentioned that in the nasty chat at the start of the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There was a great graphic that was done too. Someone produced it around that time. It was like the Black Mold Project. It was like a solo project. If I were a musician, I would be in the Black Mold Project. Yeah.
Third question for 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. We'll do this for a different team tonight, or today. New Year's resolution for the Edmonton Oilers. If you had New Year's resolution for the Oilers, what would you say? Trev, JMO? I didn't give Trev a heads up on this one. I did give you a little bit ago, like 10 minutes ago. Heads up, Dave.
I would trade for size up front. So a winger.
Size up front.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
There's your New Year's resolution for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
Trev?
Yeah, they were extremely lucky last year with the injury bug. And so they've kind of been hurt a little bit more this season, but I'd say like a healthy roster and just maybe some consistent hockey. I feel like they've had usually in February, January, they kind of have that lull, but maybe they had that a little earlier this season. So I'd go with just consistent, healthy hockey for the rest of the season.
I like those. I like what we both had. It's naturally getting that second line resolution to find that second line. So you don't have to keep putting Leon and Connor together.
Yes, I agree.
That'd be the New Year's resolution for the Edmonton Oilers. But that might come
what
with...
an incredible, I don't want to say luxury, but I guess you might see it as such, that is your solution when things are wobbling. Mm-hmm. That you can put them together and produce what they produce.
It is, but it's also interesting that we're still talking about all these years later, the Oilers don't have a second line, and you're sticking with McDavid and Leon together, but also that they're still winning hockey games, and we're still having these issues with that team.
Which also points up something, how tough it is to build a balanced roster within the confines of a salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm not, yes, some teams I think are more evenly balanced than the Oilers. We know that, but it also is not an easy job to try and get skill, depth, and the other attributes you need all the way through lines 1 through 4.
Tomorrow we'll do New Year's resolutions for the Edmonton Elks. I'll give that heads up right now for 3 questions, 2 minutes.
Okay.
I need to get to that hurts for James H. Brown, which is Alberta Injury Lawyers. The heavy hitters of injury law. If you've been injured in an accident, go to jameshbrown.com. What hurts is potentially Dustin Nielsen's stomach.
Why? What's happened?
Well, this is going to be the controversy of the year. So he threw it out there that if we got to 11,000 subs on YouTube by the end of Christmas Day.
We are talking subscriptions here. Yes.
He would eat pickled herring.
Oh,
and apparently
his
wife for the second time chasing him around with pickled herring. I had pickled herring on Christmas Eve. It was delicious. I enjoyed it.
It's a delicacy.
It was wonderful.
It's not an everyday thing.
No,
right?
for me, the one I had, the way I describe it had the texture of salmon.
Okay, that's a good thing in my books.
It tasted fishier. And a fishier taste to it. But so we hit 11,000. We actually hit 11,100, but we've dropped. So people have now been unsubscribing to us in the last little bit. We're 11,000.
Maybe on this show alone.
We've specifically caused it.
Away.
We're at 11,042, which means Dusty would, in theory, have to eat pickled herring. But we don't know when we hit 11,000. I went to bed at 11:30 on Christmas Day. And I got a text from, I just realized I didn't respond to Box Pounder, but I got a text from him at about 6 a.m.
Yes.
That said we hit 11,000. But at 11:30, we didn't hit 11,000. So there's a gap there of 30 minutes before midnight. And I don't think we did get it by midnight. But we did get it before 6 a.m. on Boxing Day.
Good Lord.
Which, I will throw this out there. Hawaii's like 3 hours behind us.
Yes.
I'm sure we hit it before Hawaii ended their Christmas. So does Dusty have to eat pickled herring? I'm saying yes. We hit 11,000. Don't turn your back on our people here, Dusty. And what hurts then is that Dusty's going to have to eat pickled herring. What could also hurt is maybe Dusty just got around this because maybe we were minutes away from getting this done. So the question though also comes down to, does Dusty have to eat this pickled herring?
Dustin is food. He is risk averse when it comes to food, correct? Like nothing's changed in the time since, we worked together a very long time.
He had an artichoke a couple of weeks ago, and it was one of the most disgusting things he ever had put in his mouth, he said.
Okay.
He then had a piece of shrimp and enjoyed it better than the artichoke, but that's because, as Trev pointed out, it was just dipped in marinara sauce. My parents brought...
He never had a shrimp before the marinara sauce episode?
I don't believe so. When we started EST, he said he doesn't drink coffee. He's never had a coffee. We still have to get him a black coffee, but Eric got him a latte. He enjoyed it. He got it for like another week, and then he stopped buying them and started buying teas. My parents bought pierogies, pedohead to the Ukrainian people.
Yes.
Earlier in December. I'm just pointing where they were. I don't know why I point. They're there.
Trev, you said I'm looking with expectation that there are pierogies just outside the door the way you set it up. Anyhow, okay, go on.
But Dusty wasn't going to eat them until Hernan's like, "Why aren't you going to eat them?" He's like, "I don't know what's in them." And he's like, "It's potato, dude." So then he ate them.
I say this with much love, great respect for his ability as a communicator, broadcaster, and bringer of the Canadian Football League, but he is a toddler.
Yeah.
When it comes to food.
Trev, you were here for the declaration of the pickled herring. Did he have to eat an entire pickled herring? Like what was...
Yes, he did.
It was an entire pickled herring.
Yep, that's what I didn't get. Glue Guy, I love Glue Guy. He posted a video. He said a bite, a little piece.
Well,
just a nibble.
And I was just like, no.
I'll say this.
Drop it in like you're feeding
the whole
a
thing.
pelican?
Yes.
Okay, well, because the one thing we could say right now is we don't know when officially 11,000 was hit.
No.
He has to have one good bite of a pickled herring.
Okay.
So we move from the whole pickled herring. Maybe that's, but
I'll side with that. He has to.
That's our compromise.
Yep.
We don't. He's obviously not listening right now. Why would he? I think we push for he has to eat the pickled herring.
Cocktail sauce, not marinara. We had it down as marinara sauce. One of us should have caught that. It was a cocktail sauce.
Yeah, it's cocktail sauce.
Yes, marinara sauce.
But in the end, we push for the whole because we got it done. Like we have people listening in Hawaii. I think they're on the map. Mm-hmm. The EST Christmas was still going. But if he fights against this, we then say you need a bite. a good bite.
And if he doesn't,
like we're dealing with a little kid here, a big bite. You know, like as my parents say to my nieces, have a shark bite. We'll tell Dusty, go have a shark bite.
Yeah, just have a little bite, and then you can stay up late and watch your show. Okay.
And if he doesn't, then I'm firing him.
Yes.
Comes all around.
That hurts for James H. Brown. Either Dusty's stomach or us, because he won't eat that pickled herring. We will have to figure this out when he returns on January 6th, next Monday. Matt Iwanyk, Dave Jameison, YouTube Trevor here on the Nielsen Show. To come today, we still have the Hangouts. Dean Belanger, Kevin Vandelas. Kelvin, I got your... Van Dasselaar. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
I've been good at it, but for some reason, Van Dasselaar. Kelvin will join me with Dean. Apologies, Kelvin. I know he's been listening. We'll have the Hangout today. We got the Lock Shop. I think it's Huss with Jake. Oil Stream, myself, and Trev. We got ESC Afternoons Rewelcome Show with J-Mill. That's all still to come here on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Know your guests' names.
It's kind of important.
It is kind of important, but I like that.
Kelvin Van Dasselaar. Crushed it.
Alwag Bamida Babajidi Opiodu. That is an actual name that I said on the air reading news in Vancouver. Alwag Bamida Babajidi Opiodu. My co-anchor.
That's impressive.
Well, thank you. It's like a trick I can do at a bar. My co-anchor on the news desk at CKNW said, I am not going anywhere near that name. I'm going to call him the Ugandan man. I said, okay, you do that.
Anytime working with Dave, like, say that name, that
Alwag Bamida Babajidi Opiodu. Touchdown.
We've got a YouTube Travis Sports update. Then after that, we've got Ryan Rishaug. It is the Monday morning. Well, got your back Monday morning mandate. Matt Iwanyk, Dave Jameison with you here on the Nielsen Show, presented by South Fork Chevrolet, live on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. Here's YouTube Trev.
Yesterday, Leon Draisaitl scored a pair, but it wasn't enough as the Oilers fall to the Anaheim Ducks by the score of 5-3. The Oilers will continue their road trip tomorrow night for their final game of the year against the Utah Hockey Club. 8 other games around the NHL last night, including the Sabres doubling up on the Blues 4-2. The Red Wings double up on the Capitals 4-2 as well. The Canadiens defeat the Lightning 5-2. The Golden Knights shut out the Flames 3-0, and the Senators edge out the Wild 3-1. Tonight in the NHL, just 3 games dot the schedule as the Rangers head south to take on the Panthers. The Predators visit the Jets, and the Utah Hockey Club visit the Kraken. To the World Juniors we go. Team Canada got back in the win column yesterday, blanking the Germans 3-0. Canada will be back in action on Tuesday when they face the Americans. And 3 other games in the juniors yesterday, which saw Sweden defeating Switzerland 7-5, Finland edging out US of A 4-3 in overtime, and Czechia doubles up on Slovakia 4-2. In the association yesterday, the Raptors' 9-game losing streak extends to 10 as they lose to the Atlanta Hawks by the score of 136-107. The Raptors will be back in action tomorrow in Boston to take on the Celtics. Tip-off for that one is at 1 o'clock. And to finish things off, 9 games in the NFL last night, but only one tonight to cap off Week 17 as the 13-2 Lions take on the 6-9 49ers. Kickoff for this one at 6:15. Boxing Week savings are coming to Sit and Sleep. Starting December 14th, all Canadian-made custom sofas, sectionals, and bedrooms will be on sale. Save up to 50% on select floor samples, 20% off home accents, and more. Plus, make no payments until 2026 interest-free, and make any purchase over $999 during the sale and receive free local white glove delivery with full setup and installation. Don't miss the massive Boxing Week furniture and mattress sales event starting December 14th at Sit and Sleep in South Edmonton Common, next to Planet Fitness.
Timberlake rocks.
Is that a mandate of yours?
What are we talking about here? Good question. Can some of it be about sports? Yeah. All he needs to do is just get in front of people and state his case. If they had the mandate from the people, blah, 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 I don't know where that information came from, but I would question it.
Time for the Morning Mandate with Ryan Rishaug.
This is what sports broadcasting is all about.
You know what? That may be a good point, Ryan. You broke the story, Ryan.
Rishaug is one giant 6'2" pile of Charmin.
This is the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric, Matthew Iwanyk, Dave Jameison, in for Dusty and Eric. Of course, that's the exact same thing outside of the music from the old one.
Yeah, that's right. You did have to lay in, yes.
It was just, and that's Rishaug's music for Got Your Back. Matthew Iwanyk, Dave Jameison, YouTube, Trevor here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, live on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, you could also get Got Your Back. I believe a couple dropped this past weekend because of the Oilers game. Joining us now from TSN, it is Ryan Rishaug, and there's Shoggy right now. How was Christmas?
Oh, Christmas was good. Yeah, Christmas was good, man. It was a little bit of a different year. Like a lot of the extended family was kind of out and about doing their own things, so didn't have like a lot of the brothers and immediate sort of family in the Rishaug family. But we had our crew, Randy and I had our 7 here on Christmas night, which was fantastic. And my son Noah has moved home. He was working as a reporter in Saskatoon.
Yes.
And he has returned home to Edmonton after a few years living away. So definitely excited about that. He starts his new gig over at Global TV in the new year.
Did get a
so
job
it was
here.
just awesome to have everybody home for Christmas. It was great.
I saw that he was leaving Saskatoon. I'm glad that Step Up coming back home and continue
market.
on. Absolutely.
Yeah, which it's interesting. He's kind of works for the competition, right?
Yes.
Because I am TSN/CTV Bell, and now he's going to work over on the other side for the Evil Empire. So all of the secrets we've been sharing all these years, what he does not know is it'll now be a campaign to ruin him. I am that competitive when it comes to our network competition. So look out, Noah.
Always put the network first, right, Ryan?
Yeah, 100%.
You got it.
Mothership before family.
You got it.
Absolutely, Dave.
Yes.
I think we would all admit that's how we've all gotten this far.
Right, exactly.
Any golf sim for Christmas or?
Yeah. I played 18 the other day. I avoided the simulator for a couple of days. There was a mouse in there, and kind of threw me off a little bit. Definitely rattled me a bit, Dave. And so I gave it a break for a day or two.
Okay, you just said mouse in the simulator, okay, and that's not some language that I'm not. That's an actual mouse in the simulator where you go and you do this, right?
Yeah, a literal mouse in my garage where my simulator is. I was playing, and I see movement out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, no. Well, it is a garage, right? And so it just threw me off. I don't love mice, like not my favorite scenario. I just worried it was going to like run out between my legs and my backswing. You know, I wrench my back. It gets messy. So I just found myself every time I was like, oh, I should go hit some balls. And I was like, whatever, I'll do something else. I actually avoided it for a few days until finally I had to man up and get in there and take care of it. So it's all looked after now, and I'm back in the sim.
So is this a fear of mice, or is it just you don't want that extra distraction while you're golfing?
Well, I got a decision to make here, but how
I'm
truthful.
just intrigued which one this is.
I'm truthful to answer. It's a little bit both. Okay. I don't love them. It's not that I'm scared of them.
I respect the honesty.
They're not going to hurt me, but it just, I'm the guy. So last Christmas, our cat Murphy drags a mouse into the house. Murphy always does this, brings a live mouse in and then drops it. And now this mouse is running rampant through our Christmas meal. And so the whole room is like reacting to there being a mouse in a room with 25 people. And there may or may not be some video exists that me standing on a stool in the middle of the kitchen. I may or may not have had a hockey stick. I can't remember. But and this is the thing. Everybody wanted to criticize me because they thought I was scared. But as you know, Dave, as a leader of men,
yes.
When things happen and when the you-know-what hits the fan, the generals, the decision makers, they head to high ground to keep an overall look of the battlefield. So I headed to the high ground and I was directing the troops. Rick, go there. Randine, go there. So I was standing on a stool in the middle of the kitchen directing the mouse pursuit.
That to me, that's just smart logic. I will give you that one on that one, Ryan. The Oilers, they go to LA, they take on the Kings, and they go take on the Ducks. Drop 3 of 4 points in those 2 games. What's your biggest takeaways from the 2 games from the Oilers this past weekend?
I would say that they came back a little sluggish from the break, I would say. Like they had 4 days off. They practiced before the LA game, but I just think that they came back sluggish. I think the break beat them up a little bit in terms of they were going good. They had their game in good order. If we recall, they were playing patient hockey. They were coming back when they were down. They were holding on to leads. They had a lot of positive things going on in their game. And some of that got left, back wherever they spent their Christmas time. So didn't love the LA game. The Anaheim game, to me, they came out and they realized, okay, we better play well today. Don't want to lose to the Ducks and don't want to lose 2 in a row. So they came out, guys, and played really well for like 12, 13 minutes and then rested on the old laurels. The game fell apart and it ended up just being a brutal result. Just a terrible road trip to come back from Christmas on the mom's trip of all things.
Ryan, coming back into this realm and looking at conversation that's been had either yesterday after the game or this morning, what I don't see is criticism of certain players, notably being Darnell Nurse. And I've watched him, and obviously you have very closely this year. His game is, I don't want to say, it's the best hockey he's ever played, but it's certainly some of the most consistent hockey he's played. I mean, do you see it as such?
Well, yeah. And if you're looking for criticism of Darnell Nurse, just watch the pod last night. I mean, Struds and I, we dug into it. But, it's a one-off, right? Like the Oilers haven't lost back-to-back games since, I think, mid-November. So we can isolate the weekend and say what happened. And there's lots of criticism there, right? Or you can take a step back, go broader view. And to your point, JMO, like Darnell has been good. Darnell has had a really great stretch of hockey here. Just because they played a couple of bad games doesn't mean that's all over with now. This is a mature team. We'll see how they get back to their game against Utah. We're going to learn something about where the group is at, right? Because when you stumble, and every team does, how quick can you gain your footing? So we'll see that. But, oh, no, if you want criticism of Darnell Nurse or of the Oiler blue line, let's do it. Like Ty Emberson, one of the most egregious plays taking an oncoming rush that we've seen all season long. Emerson's been a good player for them this year. He's been a great pickup, and he's done really, really well. That was a dog crap play at a bad time, right? So there's that. Then you got Darnell Nurse, right? Reaching your stick out and tipping a point shot coming in at your own net. That's just trying to do too much. Reversing a puck almost through your legs up the wall to a guy who sees it coming, seals it, gets the jump on you, pucks in the back of the net. Another one right there. Troy Stetcher, 8 minutes in penalties and 11 minutes played. Like the Oiler blue line struggled last night. Nurse led that charge. Emberson, though he had 5 hits, which I like, struggled. So, yeah, lots of criticism from yesterday. But overall, guys, I mean, defensively, this group's been pretty good, Matty.
We're with Ryan Rishaug of TSN. Also got your back a podcast who dropped 2 pods this weekend. Jeff Skinner, he's a healthy scratch yesterday. Where do the Oilers go from here with Jeff Skinner?
Yeah, well, we debated that big time for quite a while last night on the show, right? Struds is of the camp that it's clearly not working. And I think you go to him, he's got the no move, so there's got to be an agreement. Like the coaching staff clearly doesn't have the confidence in him to put him into positions to, produce more and play higher up the lineup. I mean, guys, they've had top 6 forwards injured most of this season. And Jeff Skinner cannot get a sniff back in the top 6. I mean, when they had both Arvidsson and Hyman on the shelf, he never even got a look. So that should tell you where the staff is at with this player in terms of trusting him and trying to use him in a role that largely he has played throughout his career. So Struds thinks, hey, probably time, have a chat with him. He needs to have a good season because he's playing for a contract next year and see if you can't find a deal. It may well go that way. The argument I presented last night, and you guys feel free to weigh in on this, it's hard when players change locations. Sometimes they struggle. It's hard when players get bought out. Sometimes they struggle. He's been through a lot over the last 6 months in terms of just his world kind of being rocked, trying to find his footing and find some confidence. Chris Knobloch has allowed this to get to a rock bottom situation, and that's not criticism. I think he allowed Skinner's play to just get him where he is right now. I can't help but wonder if this rock bottom scenario isn't a chance to try and build from it a little bit, if you'll have an attentive player, and if you can make it real clear to him, here's what you need to do. And if you start listening and doing this, then there's going to be a chance for you here, because guys, remember Connor Brown last year?
I was about to
remember that year
Connor
he
Brown
had. And then remember what he did in the playoffs. Jeff Skinner's a good player. He's produced in this league before. So maybe this rock bottom moment is something to build off of. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I too, like when they acquired Skinner, I thought, that is because you look at the numbers he's put up in his career, you think, okay, a fresh start. That talent is in there somewhere. It hasn't, vaporized. And then to see how he's played and being as, healthy scratched, you think, and I saw some stuff out of Buffalo, people saying, no, he's washed out. That's the guy. The guy you're seeing in Edmonton is what we saw near the end here in Buffalo. I'm skeptical of that because I also have a belief that players at this elite level have great personal and professional pride, that they will do all they can to find it. But then sometimes it is just over. But I think that's premature to say that about this guy.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing that people maybe don't consider, if all you want to do is go on what they said in Buffalo, what you're doing is you're discounting the effect that situation could have on the player, right? So being bought out, being paid not to play for somebody, being in a situation where you go through that, well, that's going to affect a guy, right? Might affect him really negatively, and maybe that's some of what we're seeing, but it could also be motivating as well. So the no movement clause complicates things. If that's not there, you find a taker and he's gone, right? Boom, just gone. But come playoff time, you need depth and you need good players. And I'm really interested to see what Jeff Skinner might look like in playoff hockey. So,
there's a part
of me. What's that, Matt?
He still has never played in playoff hockey either.
Never. It is just never. He's just never been in a playoff atmosphere. So if you trade him and then trade deadline rolls around and you're looking at your roster and you're like, man, we could use one more player that could put a few pucks in if you need to, maybe a guy with a bit of experience. I don't have a lot of assets to give up for him. So I don't know. Can you find a 12 to 15 goal scoring depth winger who can he's not the perfect player and he's not going to fit in on a prototypical third line. He's not going to be a fourth line grinder, but is there a way to have Jeff Skinner understand what it's going to take to contribute on this team and have him build his game from here? They're not going to have a choice unless Dan Bowman's got a deal and Jeff Skinner's willing to do it. I just don't think you can let it languish all season long the way it has. Like at some point, and maybe there already is, there needs to be a plan in place for, okay, it is where it is. What is the path moving forward to get some useful games and try and salvage something with this player? Because just having him languish as he has for the next 3 months, I can't imagine Chris Knobloch will do that without a significant action plan in place to try and elicit better results. So we'll see if they can figure it out and figure out how to unlock this player.
Ryan, do you think the Oilers, with in the absence of Evander Kane, that they are profoundly lacking in a certain physicality? Or is that over, analyzed?
No, I've been beating this drum since the start of the season. I don't like it. I don't like, we have a lot of disagreement on our show about the importance of that. Brownie and I are constantly slamming heads over that. Struds is kind of somewhere in the middle, I would say. But no, I do think it's an issue. Like the Oilers are dead last in the league in hits per 60. Dead last with a bullet by quite a bit. If you look at where they were last season, they're almost 10 hits more on average per game. So they have dramatically reduced the amount of, focus that there is on finishing checks. Now, as Chris Knobloch always says, if you have the puck, it's hard to throw hits. If you have too many blocked shots and too many hits, you're probably not great because you don't have the puck enough, which I respect. I understand what he's saying. But I think this team has an issue with, backing their way into games they wait to see how hard the night's going to be before they actually decide, how hard are we going to have to work tonight? How often do you see the Oilers go out and impose their will on teams? I don't think we see it a lot. And I think the instinct to go and finish checks and play hard and challenge your opposition and engage physically, you get buy-in from more guys more often. This team's not wired that way. And it's right through the lineup, guys. Connor McDavid has stopped hitting. He has stopped hitting. He went from being one of their most physical players. Take a look at his stats. Mm-hmm. I think he has like 5 hits in the last 14 or 15 games. I pulled the stat last night. It's now Struds believes it's about conserving energy through a long regular season, and there has to be something to that. But I will say this, I don't believe it's a standard that's expected of people on the team, and the players definitely are comfortable with that because they're not going out of their way to do it. Ty Emerson, 5 hits last night. The rest of the team, 8.
That's not good enough when one guy's eating up over half your hits. What's your plans for Got Your Back over the next few days? Tomorrow, but it's New Year's and all that. So,
yeah, we're going to, giving the fellas and the crew the night off on New Year's, we'll drop a pod on the 1st. And then post-game pods for the next bunch of games. So, yeah, we'll be dropping our regular 4 pods a week right through into the new year. And, should be interesting. Should be fun this next little week here. The Oilers, look at their next 6 games. How many wins in their next 6? That's the question we posed on the show last night. The quality of competition, this is exactly what they need to turn things around after a tough start because it's not super heavy competition, guys.
Ryan, Happy New Year to you and yours. Boys, they'll talk with you next Monday.
Yeah, sounds good. Dave, fantastic to see you, my friend. Merry Christmas. Love seeing you back on the airwaves. This city needs Dave Jameison on the air every day in some capacity. We missed you. We love you. Find a way to get your ass back on air, man. We love you.
Thank you, my friend.
Ryan Rishaug of TSN. That's your Got Your Back Monday morning mandate. Check out Got Your Back wherever you get your podcasts. Also on YouTube, where we are, Edmonton Sports Talk as well. Momentarily, we do need to get to the wrap. Which I have some news for the wrap, which is perfect because it's what did you learn today? Well, I just learned something that I will pass along. But we got to get to the Marmot Basin snow report, ski report. Trev will get some sort of music that we've got. Well, Dusty has this different music.
Oh.
It's like a full, it's like EDM stuff.
For the ski report.
Yeah, but he never leaves that stuff with us. You remember.
Oh, yes, I remember. Yes.
Last 24 hours, 1 centimeter. Last 2 days, 2 centimeters of snow. But the snow base, 61 centimeters. Total for the year, 138 centimeters. Today, a mix of sun and cloud. Alpine temperature, high of -10. Valley forecast, chance of flurries, high of -3. Great.
That's
conditions.
Great weather. Yeah.
I know who would love those conditions.
Who's
Will
that?
Fraser. Will loves going to the slopes.
Well, if you're as talented as Will, you would too. No, I think he's a very accomplished skier, is he not? He's been doing it a while.
Doesn't make you accomplished. I've been doing radio for 15 years and
okay.
Ta-da! The last 3 hours would fight that.
Well, you'll get your guest's name right before you hit the hangout.
Kelvin
I know you will.
Here. He is here. I will get Van Dasselar.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Well, you think. I will now second guess myself the entire show.
Glad I could help.
Thank you. Time for the wrap. Brought to you by William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, visit the team at williamhuff.com. In business since 1952. So they're incredible at what they do. As JMO mentioned, they're also out right now doing the World Junior stuff. They did Grey Cup. They do Elks. They do Rogers Place. They do Saddle Dome. They do a lot of great things. What did we learn today? I'll start. What did you learn today, Dave?
Well, here's a couple of things I learned. That he is not Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner. That is, in fact, YouTube Trev. I've learned that this community, the Nasty Chat, is as cool as I remember them to be when many of them were over with us at 1260. So it's great to be back in this environment. That's what I learned. I mean, did I come away with any fresh, oh my God, I've never heard that. Oh, owls and ears. What was the, yeah.
They don't have external ears.
External ears. And also, I thought owls did.
No.
That there was some sort of thing that.
We also learned that Trev likes to shock himself and burn himself and things like that, which was.
It's pretty cool. We'll have to do it sometime. I'm serious.
Sure. Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that.
I'm sure HR Daddy will love the fact that we're going to electrocute one of our employees on air.
Yeah. No, like I don't think I'd feel it. I honestly think it'd be like nothing.
Careful with that, Trev. I just don't want to see you set up for tragedy. Yeah.
All of a sudden, Noah Rishaug's here reporting for Global,
Well, that'd be just like us, eh?
You learned anything today, Trev?
I learned of the existence of that player that J-Mo said earlier about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, that wasn't a player. You mean Alwag Bamida Babajini Opiodu?
Oh, yeah.
That was a guy arrested for ingesting balloons filled with heroin and flying from Ethiopia and landing in Vancouver, and he was wearing no shoes. Got off the plane, and they said, "You were here for..." And he went, I don't know. They went, "Why don't you step into this room over here?" Yeah. Yes, true story.
Okay, yeah, that's what I learned today. That's
there you go.
I'm going to tell my dad about that.
Also, Chelsea text Dave, a nice Monday morning treat. What a way to start the week. Here's what I learned today from Bruce Feldman, college football writer with The Athletic. Sac State set to hire Edmonton Elks general manager, former general manager, Geroy Simon as their new GM. The former CFL star has spent the past decade working in the front offices of the CFL. A couple things on the NCAA football, they're starting to add GMs because of the transfer portal and stuff.
Yes.
GMs are becoming now a standard when it comes to college football teams. Bill Belichick, I think, brought in Michael Lombardi. I think Michael Lombardi is going to be their GM out there. So Giro are going to Sac State. Sac State also, they have $50 million that they're planning to spend in NIL money. I don't know where they're getting this money from, but they've got a bunch of money. They're not in major Div 1.
No.
They're trying to get into major Div 1. They're trying to get like the Pac-12 to bring them on or something. And they have a plan over the next few years to spend a boatload of money. I mentioned $50 million at NIL. That's a high amount.
And
because they
NIL
want to
money
build,
it's not just confined to the football program, right? That's
I think generally you spend it on the football program.
Football and basketball.
They're building a brand new stadium out there.
Okay.
Because they have goals of trying to build up. Of
course.
This is a group that's trying to be like, we're going to build a college football program. That's Div 1 AA and build them up. I think it's FCS to FBS or something like that. But J.R. Simon will be their general manager. Thought he deserved another shot at GM here in the CFL, but there's only 9 of them.
Put in a very tough position here in Edmonton. I enjoyed my time working, in the 4.5, 5 months I was in the building working in the role I was just in. No, he was always very gracious and a pleasure to deal with. Good for him.
So that is what I have learned today. Text of the day. I think I got to go to Rip City Step. I think he's the way. I pulled it from him late last week. Gave it to Lucas in the end. But do you think the Oilers could get Shea Weber for Omar in a second? Hashtag Jameison trade proposal.
God, that will never make me. I will never stop smiling when I hear Omar and a second.
And people
just
remembered
to sweeten it. Yes, just to sweeten it just a little bit to push Nashville over the top.
Oh, Scuba Steve has some Heisman trivia. Which former Elk-esque was a Heisman winner? He also played in the Final Four in baseball, was drafted the same year as Hugh Campbell in 1963. He didn't send me the answer.
A former Eskimo.
Elk was a Heisman winner.
Okay.
Actually, didn't Troy Smith come here? Quarterback from Ohio State.
Or wasn't he in Saskatchewan? Billy Vessels won the Heisman, did he not?
Troy Smith wasn't here.
In the 50s?
Who do you have?
Billy Vessels.
Scuba Steve, who is it? Text us the answer. Joe Blog, Mr. Dave Jameison. You get a mister.
Oh.
I used to listen to 1260 a lot during your time slot, and I can honestly say you're my favorite brain and soul behind a mic in sports.
Well, thank you.
He also adds, I hope you're enjoying retirement.
Well, imposed retirement, yes. No, I have not stopped working, although it may appear like I have.
Dave was with the Edmonton Elks. Well, we'll get into a little bit more tomorrow on the show. But he had been spent, this whole season with the Edmonton Elks.
In 2 different roles,
Yeah.
yes. First with the 75th season celebrations and co-chairing all of that work, and then as the interim, I always like the idea of an interim director of tickets and service for the team.
Dave will be back tomorrow here on the show. Myself, Dave, YouTube Trev. We're off on Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday. Lieutenant Eric back. You will join Lieutenant Eric. Actually, he'll sit there, and you'll move over here.
Oh, do I get to work that
from a different spot? You could. You could press the
Probably
buttons
not.
and see what there is. You know. That was Dusty Half Chewy. Oh, I got to finish that
I remember
one.
Half Chewy.
Oh. There's your there's your EST sound of the day today. Dusty Half Chewy. I'm glad I played that very late.
Sound of a drowning man.
What are we watching tonight? What are you watching tonight?
NFL.
Are ya? Lions, 49ers.
Damn rights.
Boom.
Dan Campbell. Give me some Dan Campbell.
Mr. Oklahoma Drill himself from back in the day. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Trev, what are you watching tonight?
I'll be watching myself while I edit videos. That's pretty well all I got for tonight. Just editing videos.
You got the Monday Nighter. You've got... There's World Juniors going on. Canada plays again tomorrow because they got the U.S. game. The big battle against the U.S. Tomorrow. We've got 3 games in the Premier League today. Aston Villa versus Brighton, Ipswich Town and Chelsea, and Man United, Newcastle United. The battle of the Uniteds.
Yes.
The United's to be divided.
And that's how they bill it, I'm sure.
And in college football, as we mentioned, the Trans Perfect Music City Bowl. Iowa, Missouri, coming up at 12:30. Can't beat it. Just can't beat it. It's absolutely incredible. Dave, this was a blast.
Good to be back with
This
you.
was wonderful.
Yes.
3 hours flew by.
Not quite like riding a bike, but it is close.
For me, it felt, it was there. It's been a while since you and I just did a show together, and this was wonderful. Trev, thanks for being part of it as well. It was good seeing you back.
Yes. This was very fun. I had a really good time today.
Don't go get
Thank you.
electrocuted today. I want to see you
won't.
here tomorrow.
Yes, I'll be good.
On behalf of Dave Jameison, YouTube Trev, I'm Matt Iwanyk. Thanks for tuning in to the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Coming up next here on Edmonton Sports Talk, it's the Hangout with Dean Belanger and Kevin Vandalasar.
Yes!
Vandasselaar.
Now I'm going to say, I will get it right. It's in my head, and I'm going to have the yips.
Got right at you. We're living rent
Thank
free.
you, Trev. We got Lock Shop, we got Oil Stream, we got EST Afternoons, we got the Reed Wilkins Show. What a sad way to end this show. But what a perfect way to end the show. Hangout coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for tuning in to the morning show this morning.